International Women's Month, right? And so we decided to put this session, to encourage as much women as we can because we're also running a discount that will be letting you in on afterwards, all right? So we'll start the session right away. So I would love to meet everybody on the call. Well, not so much before it becomes a full house. I would just like to meet everybody on the call. So please, like I said, my name is Priscilla and I'm joining in from Nigeria. So just let me know your name and where you're joining us from. You could just put that in the chat, your name and where you are joining us from. Okay, so please let's keep it coming. It's really going to be an amazing session. I have a lot of things packed for you today. Okay, so I can see Elizabeth from Kenya. Who else? Who else is here? Elizabeth, you're very welcome. So who else is joining us? Please just leave your name. Joy from Georgia, you're welcome. And who else? Florencia from UK, yeah, I heard your voice earlier. Welcome. Ronke from Canada, you are very much welcome. Emmanuel from Cape Town. Okay, so I'd also like to know if this is your first time joining a 10 Analytics session. Okay, if this is your first time joining a 10 Analytics session, pardon me, please leave a 1 in the chat. If this is your first time joining a 10 Analytics session, Florencia, you're very welcome. Oh wow. So who else do we have? Who's joining us for the first time? Can we meet you? If you're joining us for the first time, please leave a 1 in the chat. If you are joining us for the first time, please leave a 1 in the chat. So do we mean that everybody else here, apart from Florencia, has been in a 10 Analytics session before? That's amazing. So we don't have any new persons in the house. Florencia, you're very, very welcome. Good to have you here. Okay, so we're just going to get started into today's session, okay? Meanwhile, so during the course of the session, my colleague will be sharing an attendance form. Okay, so if you'd actually, oh, look, man, I can see you. You're welcome. Good to have you here. So my colleague will be sharing an attendance form, and just so you get access to everything that we absolutely, Valencia. Just so you get access to everything we would say here today, my material for today's session and everything, please do well to fill the feedback form so that all of the resources that will be used in today's session will get sent to you, okay? So we'll get straight into it, and I'll do that by first of all introducing 10 Analytics and what we do here in 10 Analytics, okay? So please, as soon as you can see my screen, just leave me a 1 in the chat. As soon as you can see my screen clearly, please leave a 1 in the chat so that I know that you can see my screen. All right, thank you, Sophia. Okay, so basically, we're here today to listen to 10 Analytics Power Women talk about how they got a job after training with 10 Analytics. These are women that have gone before us, permit me to say that, and have also walked the talk. So they are here to share their success story with everybody here on the call. So if you're looking to get started in tech, if you're looking to land a job in tech, this is the very right session for you to be in, okay, whether you're a man or a woman, all right? So if you know somebody that will benefit from this session, please shoot them a message, send them the link so they join in, and they actually get to hear people that have walked the talk. They get to hear how they were able to do it, and they pick inspiration from their story. So they also get to benefit from the discounts that we are having ongoing. Okay, so I'll just go ahead to introduce 10 Analytics and what we do here in 10 Analytics. So who are we at 10 Analytics basically? What do we do? So 10 Analytics is a leading educational technology company, and our focus is on helping Africans and people of the Black community basically transition into tech. We do this by providing comprehensive training in technology skills, and we ensure that we're providing you comprehensive training such that when you go through any of our training programs, you will be able to land a job afterwards. So we've been doing this for over 4 years. We've been building talent in the tech space and tech workforce for over 4 years. And during the course of these 4 years, we've helped over 2,855 plus people transition from the classroom into their first job in tech. Okay, so they've transitioned from the classroom. I need you to note that word, from the classroom into their first job in tech. All right, so and we've done this in countries across, in countries such as the UK, US, Canada, and the likes. All right, so the courses that we offer here at 10 Analytics are basically data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management, cybersecurity, and AI engineering. So how we are able to get this much success is that we bring in top-notch facilitators, people that have worked in global tech companies, such that they are bringing their real-world experience into class and they are teaching you based off their experience. So this is who we are at Analytics, and this is what we do at Analytics. So you're very much welcome to our session if you're just joining us for the first time. So this is my humble self here. I'm just going to tell you a bit about me. So I'm a passionate educator, data expert and career strategist with close to half a decade years of experience in the world of blockchain technology and data analytics. All right. So currently I'm a data associate at Analytics, and what I do at Analytics is basically help people navigate the complex tech landscape, guide people and help them choose a career path in tech, onboard them into their different career paths, and provide the support necessary and needed for them to land their first tech job. So my expertise spans across freelance data analyst, crypto educator, technical support personnel, and tech career coach. Okay, so basically that's a little bit about me and what I do. So you can also go ahead to follow myself and Analytics across our social media pages. So why are we here today? What would we be doing majorly during the course of today's session? Okay, so the first thing we'll be doing is we'll be having a fireside chat. Remember I said that we brought in Analytics Power Women to come talk to you about how they were able to land jobs after training with Analytics. So you listen to them talk about how they were able to get jobs. That's the first thing we'll do today. The second thing is you would also learn about the in-demand tech skills and pathway. There are a lot of skills in tech. There are a lot of things you could learn. There are a lot of things you could become. But what is the best pathway for you? How can you choose the best path for you? We'll be talking about that, all right? The third thing we'll be talking about is after you choose the path, how can you now get a job? All right, and then I'll also show you success stories of our participants. Apart from the people that will be speaking to you here today, you get to learn about more of our success stories as well. And then the final thing we'll be talking about is our special International Women's Day discount offer to you, and the upcoming cohorts that we have. So I'm gonna just show you the women we have for today's session. Like I said, we have three powerful women. The first one is Thelma Upetanan. All right, so Thelma's previous role was she was a payroll administrator, and after training with us, she landed a job as a HR data analyst. All right, the second person is Lois Owumi. Okay, so our previous role she was a procurement officer, and after training with us, she was able to land a job as a project manager. And then we have the final person, which is Bukola Muibat. All right, our previous role was she was a co-founder of a construction material business, and she's currently a data scientist. That's after training with Analytics. So we'll get right into the session today. But before we get into the session, I'd like to feel the pulse of the people in the house. If you're excited to be here, please leave a yeah in the chat. If you're excited to be here and you cannot wait for us to get started, you cannot wait to hear the women talk to you about how they were able to land jobs. I know that some of us feel like, oh, the tech is oversaturated. I don't know if I'm going to make it. But we've brought in people that have worked to talk. And if you cannot wait to hear them talk to you, please leave a yeah in the chat. All right, I can see you for Lauren Show. Thank you. Is it just for Lauren Show we have? I have about 35 people on the call. So excluding myself, that would be 33. Okay, I can see Lillian, I can see Nurse, I can see Ebenezer. All right, so you're very much welcome to today's session, and we're going to get right into it today. So we have Lois, we have Bukola, and then we have Thelma in the building. Okay, so hello, Sophia, please you could just spotlight Bukola, Lois, and Thelma. Hello, Thelma, good evening. Confirm that you can hear me, please.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Hi, Thelma. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you. Good evening. Yes. Can you hear me?
Good to have you here. Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Hi. So these are the power women. These are the Analytics power women. Okay. So it's a pleasure to have you join us today. All right. So I have Thelma, I have Lois, and then I have Bukola. Hello, Bukola. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right. Good to have you here. Hello, Lois. It's a pleasure to have you here. I hope you're doing good.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll just get right into it. I have a couple of questions for you, Lois, Thelma, and Bukola. All right, and then I guess maybe we'll have one or two questions in the chat as well. So before the wrap of the session, we'll just get to take one or two questions from participants in the chat. Okay, so the first person I'll start with is Lois. All right, so I'd first of all like everybody to tell us a bit about themselves. You know what you do. You know, and what your current role is. So I'll start with Lois. So Lois, please, could you tell us a bit about yourself and what your current role as a project manager is like?
Okay, thank you so much. Like you already mentioned, my name is Lois Owome. My friends call me Lopet. I am an alumni of 10Alytics, and to be honest, if someone had told me a while ago that I'm going to be here sharing my career success story, I would have really argued because of the kind of person I am. I am a very, very big introvert, but here I am sharing my success story. So, like you mentioned earlier, I am a project manager who works at the intersection of health, tech, and education, which basically means that I get to manage different kind of impactful projects. And my role is all about managing projects that drive innovation, research, and advancement by leveraging data in healthcare, tech, and in education. I also coordinate and collaborate with different kinds of stakeholders, high impact stakeholders, in places like University of Oxford, Cambridge, Research Data, Scotland, and so on. I also plan and successfully deliver multiple workshops. I coordinate and lead different operation groups to ensure effective management of specific projects. I also ensure that timelines, resources, budget are in alignment with whatever project that I'm working on, do reporting, documentations, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically me. I'm just the girl who makes sure that the organization doesn't run into any kind of problems in their project.
Oh wow, that's quite a comprehensive one. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lois. So from what I could gather, so guys, just in case you don't know, you could get your notepad and pen so that you could write down a thing or two from what our ladies will be saying today. So Lois basically manages projects in healthcare, tech, and education, correct? So you're very welcome, Lois, and it's a pleasure to meet you. So I'm going to head over to Bukola. So hi, Bukola. Yes, you. Could you tell me a bit about yourself and what your current role as a data scientist is like?
Um, yes, so like you also rightly introduced, I'm currently based in Poland, and before coming to Poland, I used to go on like a construction. I used to um, own construction material sales, and that's my business, and that's really what I do. But after leaving Nigeria, I actually came to Poland for my PhD, and I think a couple of years in here, I decided to just venture into data because, in a way, my research kind of warrants me to do that. And after doing that for a while with analytics, and I actually chose data science because I really wanted to learn about coding. I learned coding with Python, machine learning, and all of that. And in reality, I actually felt like I was going to transition into data analytics because it's more kind of easier rather than data scientist. But then I got a data scientist job, and I think it's actually cool because um, in several ways, in several areas in which I could actually have landed a position, I actually landed in HR data scientist. So for me, I think it's actually like a very good soft landing space. And rather than having to deal with something maybe much more crazy and maybe more very difficult to maneuver and understand, I think human data is actually easy to work with and understand. So basically, I am working with human data. Working like my job right now involves talent acquisition and managing everything around human data dashboarding and all of that. And right now, while I've not really done a lot of stuff really in data science, but it's actually something that because I just started not quite long, and it's still something which I really wish and I'm still going to develop more into. So for me, it's really, just like Louise said, I didn't think I actually would be here today but now here I am, and it's all thanks to analytics and all the sessions we had and everything. And honestly, it was really, really great. And so yeah, here I am.
All right. So when you said you're actually HR data scientist, you could see Thelma's eye lit up because she's actually HR data analyst as well. So, hello, Thelma. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, how are you doing, Thelma?
I'm very well.
Okay, so just a
Present.
bit about yourself and what your current role is like.
Right. So my name is Thelma, and I am currently a HR data analyst with Circle Limited here in the UK. So there was a little bit of mix-up with my role. I actually started out as a payroll administrator after I got the training from 10Alytics. I'll give details about that. But I moved to the UK in 2021 for a master's degree, and I was so determined not to do care. So it just led me to start upskilling and looking for opportunities to grow, look at the market, what skills are required. And that's how a friend just told me one day about 10Alytics, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going for it. And I did the training, and I started actively applying for HR because my background was in HR. I had some experience from Nigeria as well. My master's was in HR. So obviously I was looking for HR jobs, HR analyst jobs or HR data analyst jobs. And I happened to not get that, or what I got was a payroll administrator job. And it was amazing because I was able to use all of the skills. In fact, that was where I built the capacity, which then led me to get the job I have today now. So just correcting that. So for what I do right now, I do a lot of things, but I would just like to say that my job is like going to the park every day to play. And I'm saying this so that people don't think that it's something big, massive that we do there. It's like going to the park to play, and Excel is like a swing that you just use to enjoy yourself. And for me, we use SAP systems, and that's another, for me, again, I would say playing tool that I use. So it's quite an interesting role. I get to support with business-wide projects, building data structures for the organization, org management, and just data migration and cleansing for various projects that we have going on. So yeah, that's about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Thelma, and thank you for that clarification. Okay. So, guys, like I said earlier, my colleague will be sharing the feedback form, and she's been doing so. So, if you're probably busy and you just quickly joined in to listen, but you're not able to catch anything that they've said, please do well to fill the feedback form. Hi, Flora. Please, you need to check your email. I'm sure that it was sent to you via email. Okay. So we're just going to get started. So we've met all of our powerful ladies today. We've met Lois, we've met Okola, and then we've met Thelma, okay? And we know what they do. We have an idea of what they do. And like Thelma tried to simplify it, okay? So she termed our work as going to the park, it's not something all that crazy and something all that tough, all right? So thank you for saying that, Thelma. So I just go over to Lois again. So what was the light bulb moment for you in getting into tech? I mean, what sparked your interest? Did you just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm definitely getting into tech, or you thought it over and had it all planned out? So how did it happen? What sparked your interest, basically?
So for me, it all started when I came to UK. So I came to UK early 2023 to do my master's in management business analytics. And at that time, I had absolutely no idea what that entailed. So my sister introduced me to business analysis as a course to do my master's. And then I just checked how much someone earns in that field. And I was like, wow, okay, yeah, I'm going to go with this course. And then, like you already mentioned, prior to me coming to the UK, I actually worked briefly as an accountant because my first degree is in accounting. And then I worked as a procurement specialist extensively. But however, with time, I realized that the course I was doing, it was 15% business analysis and 85% management. I felt so deceived, you know. But it was at the same time I was hearing, a lot of stories about tech online. If you go to Instagram, you go to LinkedIn, everywhere you be seeing tech. You see this salary for so role, this salary for so. I was like, I need to be there. And to be fair, I'd really been interested in things like that, not tech itself, like things like problem solving, making work better. But I never realized that that thing that I'm actually interested in or I'm good at is what is called tech. So for me, tech has always been something that has to do with things that are very hard. And so now that I had this establishment and I knew that my course wasn't going to be it for me, I started Googling like my life depended on it. And then I asked myself some questions like, do I just want to be guessing my way into tech, or do I need like a structured approach or stuff? And then it was in this process that I was checking online that I came about 10Alytics free training. They were doing a free training on process mapping for business analysts. And then I signed up. I was really, really blown away at that section when I saw the way they were using certain tools to draw process mapping. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I have to join at this point. And interestingly, I've been following Analytics prior to that for about a year or so. But whenever I see their post on Instagram, I just scroll and scroll. But that particular section was literally my light bulb. And I think you asked if it was a leap of faith. Yeah, I would say absolutely. But it was not just a leap for me, it was like an informed leap because I knew that if I invested in learning and in real um, skills, I'll be setting up myself for success. And honestly, that was the best decision ever that I made because that decision didn't just get me into tech. It gave me a very good structured path, a solid network community, and the confidence to be able to excel in my career today. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Lois. Thank you, really. At some point, I couldn't really hear you clearly, though. I was thinking it's my volume, but I guess yeah. But thank you so much for sharing. So I just move over to Bukola. So Bukola, why did you choose data science? Okay, and why did you decide of all the tech skills, why data science?
Okay, I think I may have mentioned briefly when I was talking. I chose data science actually because I really wanted to learn about programming and coding. And actually, my interest was more geared towards R rather than Python because while in school here, I think I had some preliminary introductory course lectures into R, and I felt like maybe this is actually good. Although all the while I've always heard Python is great, it's easy to learn and all of that. But because I started with R, I was very actually biased towards that. And so, and then another thing was that I'm also thinking about post PhD and some of the the jobs I've looked at, me postdoc openings, they tend to like ask for people who know Python and all of that. I mean, amongst other things. So I thought I need to do something, at least, in short, that story that actually pushed me towards meeting, like going into the uh, you know, business per se with analytics. Actually, I had a friend that already did an analytics course, and while I wasn't crazy about looking for a job, like I actually explained, so it was more like, let me just prepare myself and arm myself with things I would need to prepare myself eventually because I'm even still in school. I'm not done yet. So just to prepare myself ahead of graduation. So that's why I get started. And so I looked up the brochure for data science. I think it was good. It was interesting for me. And so I started and joined the program as a result.
All right. So you seem to be really, so you have you had to prepare for life outside graduation and all of that, and a lot of the jobs required Python and all of that. So what's the coolest problem you've solved with Python since you started working?
Since I started working, well, I would say actually the coolest thing I may have done since I started working was more like using NLP libraries for is it NLP or LDA? Yeah, latent algorithmic. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like LDA for topic modeling, and then having lots of open-ended comments made by employees in surveys, and then having to extract key information from without really delving into reading each one by one, because yeah, it can be very tedious if you're like going through over like 1,000 comments left by employees. So yeah, using that tool in Python, which is more close to machine learning rather than just Python for data analysis, was actually rather interesting and really cool. Maybe I may have actually done that in the first month of starting my job, and I think my boss gave me kudos for that.
That's cool. That's really interesting. Thank you for sharing. So I'll just go to Thelma. So Thelma, I know that you have masters in HR. So I'll just is it right to say that you just decided to do something in that line, HR analytics? You just decided to follow that path, or what was it for you? Why did you choose HR analytics?
Yeah, actually, so because of my background in HR, I was looking at things in that line. But I actually did not start out, like when I wanted to get into tech, I didn't start out saying I wanted to do HR. So I initially thought I was going to do programming because, again, like I said, I was determined not to do care. So I was aiming for easy to get jobs. And I thought I was going to do programming. And I started learning R and Python. My God. It's easy for a lot of people. For me, it was so difficult. It was hard. I thought that I thought the Python was going to swallow me. It was hard for me, and so I had to sit back and kind of like reassess my strength, the skills I had, and what I needed to get to where I was. It also involved me, looking at my career goal again and saying, okay, what exactly do you want to do? And so I started researching and reading about that, and I saw that. So my eventual goal is to be an ERP consultant, and I could actually start with HR data, system analyst, and all of that. So I started looking for skills within that entry level positions in order to get me to that goal. So for me, it's just realizing that being in tech is not just about being a programmer. You could also be helping with implementation and other aspects. So that's how I got in.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing, Velma. So I'll just go to Bukola now. Okay. So could you tell me what's one tech tool that you currently cannot live without? I'm guessing Python, correct?
Yeah, I would say that like more like Jupyter notebook in Python, Jupyter notebook, because there are several ways in which you can use Python. So yeah, Jupyter notebook would probably be a go-to because manipulating data using Python is just kind of easier, while it's also good in Excel. Using Python for manipulating data, for analyzing data, it's very easy, especially in the fact that it makes doing some redundant and repetitive stuff very easy, and you can really so I think maybe Python is my go-to tool, and especially the Jupyter notebook.
All right. So Jupyter Notebook it is. Thank you for sharing that, Bukola. How about you, Lois?
For me, I would say Notion and Jira.
Sorry, I think your voice is a bit low. I don't know. Is it just me?
Bukola, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, but it's actually lower. Maybe you feel, I don't know, maybe there is something wrong
Okay,
with
let me
just
change to using this.
Okay, Thelma, you could actually share while we wait for Lois.
Is it better now?
Yeah, much better.
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Sorry.
Okay, so we'll just let Lois go then.
Yeah, I said Notion and Jira are like my two favorite go-to apps. Yeah, tools for project management. Did you hear me?
Sorry,
Yes,
could you say that again? Sorry.
Okay, I said Notion and Jira are my two favorite project management tools.
Okay, Notion. All right. Okay, Thank you for sharing that, Lois. I think I have a comment in the chat that is saying, sorry guys, is this an all women affair? No, Vincent, it's not an all women affair, but it's the International Women's Month. Okay, and then we just have this session where we have women come share their success stories and how they were able to land jobs after training with 10Alytics. So afterwards, we have a special discount for both the men and women in the house. Okay, so Thelma, please tell us one coolest tool, one cool tool, one tech tool that you actually cannot do without in your job.
One thing that would be Excel, as basic as it is, it's helped me do a lot of data cleansing, a lot of it's my go-to tool. I just use it for everything, and I can still solve problems with Excel. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing, guys. So while we're having this session, if you have questions, you could just put them in the chat. Questions about how easy it is to transition into tech and all of that. What's the hardest thing that they've encountered and all of that. So you could just put that in the chat. We'll take one or two questions. Okay. So Thelma, if you had to describe your learning experience at 10Alytics, how would you describe the experience from the beginning up until the end?
Frankly speaking, I would say it beat my expectation, and I'm not just saying this because we're here. Prior to joining 10Alytics, I've done another training, and I did not take anything out of it. But coming into 10Alytics, it was like it was made for me. I don't know if you get what I mean. We had weekend sessions, so the timing was right for me as well. I was very determined, right? So I had to put in efforts, but then the company, the training company on their own, they also made everything easy. We had access to the videos, we had access to data that had been pulled up. They also told us how to go get data on our own from different websites. So it was very easy to learn with 10Alytics. We also had amazing tutors. I like to say that Dakwa is my hero. I don't know if Dakwa is still here, but Dakwa made Excel look like just every day. It was just, he broke it down so easy. He was such a good tutor. And everything I thought I knew about Excel, I feel like I just touched 5% of it until I met Dakwa. And then we also had the person who came to teach us about HR analysis, and he had real life examples and scenarios which he shared. And coming from someone who'd done a master's, I did a master's in HR, and I had a whole semester doing a course on HR analysis. And what they taught us in school, the master's degree that I paid thousands of pounds for, was nothing compared to what we learned in 10Alytics in the maybe 3 months that I was here. I would say it was a very wholesome experience. It was amazing, and it's nice.
Okay, so somebody is asking in the chat, thank you for sharing, Thelma. So they actually didn't get the tool that you mentioned. I know you mentioned Excel. Which other one did you mention?
It was just
You
Excel.
had to, pardon?
It was actually just Excel I mentioned.
Okay, all right. So Flora, the two that Thelma mentioned is Excel, okay? And just like Thelma said, we have a lot of people that, at the beginning of each session, you would most likely ask, how well can you use Excel? How conversant are you with Excel? And would say on a scale of 1 to 10, please rate yourself. So we'll get ratings like 9, 8, 7, and all of that. And then when they get into Excel itself, they'll discover that, oh, I really didn't know so much. And I'm really glad that I actually did this training, okay? Thank you for sharing that, Thelma. So I'd also like to ask Lois as well. If you had to describe your learning experience at 10Alytics in one word, just one word, your learning experience, what would it be?
I would say, with the way everything went, I would say transformational.
That's interesting, transformational. Yeah, that's quite a one. So over to you, Bukola. So what stood out in the employability session? I know we're not just about the technical sessions alone, class, projects, and all of that. We also had a lot of employability sessions, CV review, LinkedIn optimization, and the like. So which of these sessions stood out for you the most? And which one helped you in your job search?
Well, the employability session is like a complete package on its own. So it's, I think, rather like hard to say which to, because like the technical aspect of transitioning is one part, and then the employability also is like there are two peas in a pod. So it's on its own crucial. So it's hard to say maybe CV part or LinkedIn optimization part, or maybe it's everything is a complete package. And so there will be no one that would say it's not important. So like I always tell people when they ask me about, especially people who are probably new and still trying to like myself, I've never actually held a real job before. So for me, maybe more, I mean, my colleagues have probably had gone for interviews, probably held jobs in Nigeria before traveling. For me, I'd never done that. The only job I held, I worked for my dad, and I didn't do any interview. So for me, it was much more important that I had this opportunity to learn about how to present myself, how to brand myself, how to present myself, how to prepare for interviews, and how to stand out. So yeah, everything else is.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, okay, so somebody is asking, I think we'll get to that, Vince. I see your question, okay. So Thelma, I'd like to ask you, what's one common misconception you had about the tech space before you got into it?
Generally, I felt like you needed to be doing programming, or you needed to be doing something seemingly big to be in tech. But it's not like that. It was a very huge misconception. There's so many roles within the tech space. I feel like there's a space for everyone. You just need to find what your strengths are and what skills align to that strength that you have. Like
Yeah,
Lois was talking about, she was literally already doing the things that was expected for her if she was in tech. So in your little role, you're probably already doing some form of data analysis. So for me, it was just knowing that it could be anything as little as data analysis, or there are just a lot of other roles within the tech space. It doesn't have to be something big, and you can actually just start with the little you have and just gain more skill and develop yourself and keep growing within the space.
all right. Yeah, it doesn't have to be something big. You don't have to, we all don't have to be coders or programmers before we actually get confident about what we do in tech, you know. So thank you for sharing that, Thelma. So I'd go to Lois. So what was one common misconception you had about the tech space before you got into it? Thelma, can you hear me? Sorry, I meant Lois, pardon me. Hi, Lois.
Hi.
Did you get me?
No, please.
Okay, so I asked, what's one common misconception about the tech space you had before you got into the tech space?
Yeah, I think just like Thelma is about the fact that I actually thought it had to do with something really difficult, coding, programming, and stuff like that. I didn't know there were easy parts
Yeah,
in tech. So when I initially started, I started by trying to learn data analytics, and boy, oh boy, that was not for me. I realized I was just following the crowd at that time. I had to recognize that everybody has their strength, and data analysis was not my strength. I don't need to follow everybody because everybody was doing data analysis. So yeah, that
absolutely.
was a total big misconception. And then the moment I realized that the soft part of tech was for me, and that was when I started excelling. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's it.
That's
Yeah.
one thing to act. That's one very crucial thing, one very important thing, and it's something that I'm actually going to mention as well. People feel like they need to get into path that sounds really heavy, you know, to the hearing, so that when you say, "Oh, I'm a software engineer," they know that this person
Yes.
is a tech. But really, it's just the little things that resonate with you, the little things that you can actually transfer your knowledge into, you know. So thank you for sharing that, Lois. So Bukola, over to you. And could you also let us know the misconception you had about the tech space before you got into it?
Well, I guess misconception which I had is also for me difficulty of breaking into it, and I guess I felt maybe it's probably hard to get the right skills. So like yeah, basically that's just it. Like I thought it's hard to break into.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing as well. You feel like it's really, really difficult, okay? But yeah, thank you for actually getting into the tech space and thriving as you're doing currently. So I think we'll have a question in the chat. So Christian is asking which tech path did each of you take at Analytics? So Lois took the business analysis program, Bukola took the data science program, and Thelma took the HR analytics program. That's to you, Christian. So Flora is asking, and that should be Thelma. So what's your daily routine as an HR analyst?
It actually depends on what's going on, but every day I would say I need to make sure that the data we have on our system, which is SAP, is correct, and because we have other systems that we use. So if the data in SAP is not correct, it's not going to interface correctly with the other system. That's one thing I do. Another thing I do is regularly, the company I work with, we have a lot of contracts within the UK, and once in a while, maybe we lose a contract or we're getting a new contract, so there will be need for data requests. So it's either I'm requesting for data for a new contract, employees are coming in, so that I can access where they will sit in the structure of the organization, and then I can. I'm
I
trying to
think
make
your voice, sorry, I think your voice is fading, right?
can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I can hear you. So you could just take the mic closer to you.
That's good. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, clearly.
Right. So I was saying that depending on the time of the year, my daily tasks could be far. And but on a regular, it could be just ensuring that the data we have on our system is correct and up to date for all our employees, so that it interfaces correctly into all the other systems that we have. And also, because of the kind of company I work in, we could be getting a request for employee data. Either a contract is going out or we're having a new contract and we're having new employees coming in. I would either be requesting for data, or I would have a request to produce data of employees for a particular contract. And then I build them kind of like the org structure into, and I'm not talking one employee, two employees, I'm talking loads of employees who have to be who they'll sit under, and what costing they will be assigned to. We need to map all of that out and build that into the SAP system. And then, like I said, depending on the time of the year. So January this year, we had a lot of annual leave resets that we needed to do, because our annual leave year runs from January to December. So that was what we're doing in January. April is annual pay review. February, March, we've been preparing that data for the annual pay review. April, just to ensure that the employees are getting the right salary starting in April. Today I did an audit for employees who had a pay rise between 1st of January and say 1st of March and 10th of March, just to be sure that they have the right salaries just before the pay review. So we're not either using their previous salaries, we're not calculating their pay review based on their previous salary, just to make sure that we have
Sorry, your voice has gone off again.
I am so sorry about that.
No problem.
Well, yeah, so I was just saying that at this time of the year, what we're doing now is peer review. So I'll auditing the calculations for annual peer review that we've done in preparation for our April 1st peer review.
Okay, all right. Flora, I hope you got that. Okay, so one extra question for you, Thelma. So she's asking, does your job clash with that of the data analyst as a HR data analyst? If you have any data analyst in your organization, does it clash?
Not quite. So I sit completely different from where the data analyst will sit. I also sit differently from where, say, like the reporting team will sit. So I sit in like a change management team. And actually, I sit in, say, a people operations team. And we have the HR data administrators. Those are people that put the actual inputs in the system. We have the HR data analysts. Those are the people that analyze all the data that's been inputted, make sure that it's correct, everyone is sitting where they're supposed to be. And then we have the HRS team, and those are the people who ensures that the systems are working for you. Why am I just saying jargon?
Okay, so I couldn't really catch a lot of what you said because I think something is off with the mic. But thank you, actually. I know that you made it clear that no, it doesn't really clash with the role of a data analyst, correct?
No, it doesn't.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. So yeah, we're about wrapping up the Q&A session for now. So I'll just go over to Lois. So what would be like your advice? So first of all, do you think that the tech space is currently saturated, or should I say, do you think that the project management space or the business analysis space that you are in, do you think it's saturated?
So, well, should I say initially I did, or yeah, because there was a point I felt like everyone was just breaking into tech everywhere you go. Like I said, when I was scrolling through Instagram, LinkedIn, you just be seeing, oh, I just landed a new tech job, I just got a project manager role, I'm a data scientist. So I really felt like this, the space is saturated, and then you see some people literally emphasizing that the space is saturated. And I started asking myself, like, would I even get a space for me? And then you see people discouraging you that, oh, there are so many business analysts, you wouldn't find anything to do there. But with time, my mindset started to shift because I realized that tech isn't really saturated because it is evolving and there are more people that are entering the field. But even though that is happening, there are still new problems that keeps coming every day. New industries, new organizations, people adopting technology, and you would do that there are still new roles created. If you go to the NHS, if you are in the UK, you will see that there are a lot of tech roles that are being opened day in, day out. Companies, organizations are still looking for new tech people in different fields, new talent to bring about innovations into their organization. And to be honest, I had to tell myself that if tech was truly saturated the way some people try to make it look like, these recruiters would not be out there looking for
Absolutely.
people to get into this field. I wouldn't be able to find the job that I have today. I'm sure Thelma and Bukola would not be able to find their jobs as well if the whole place is still as saturated as the way people are thinking. So to me, at this point, my mindset has shifted. It's not really as saturated as people. I mean, the people that are saying it's saturated don't want us to join them in eating the money. I think that's it.
I think so too. I share in that opinion. Thank you for sharing, Lois. So, Bukola, how about you? Did you at a time feel like the tech space is overly saturated, or the data science space? Did you feel like it was saturated?
Well, I guess so. Saturated, yes, but still, it doesn't mean that there is no room for other people coming up. Just like Louise rightly said, there is still room, and then it's just more about you finding your own niche, your own space, because for all of these data analysts, data scientists, it's all very broad terms, and they're always very you need to just find your own niche where you're good, where you're gonna fit yourself in a way you're gonna make a difference and an impact. And so that's just what one needs to focus on. And every day, every now and then you go on LinkedIn, you go on all this Glassdoor, you will still find openings and companies are still looking for people. So yeah, there
Absolutely.
is there's definitely space despite the saturation.
Yeah, I mean, there's something I would share during the course of the session. You'd find out that the tech space isn't really saturated, and there will be a lot of jobs for anyone looking to get into tech. Okay, so Thelma, thank you for sharing that, Bukola. Thelma, how about you? Same question. Did you, at a certain point in time, think that the tech space is overly saturated?
My own case will be different. I hope my voice is clearer now. Um,
Yeah, it
I
is.
did I did not think it was overly saturated, basically because I was constantly looking on LinkedIn for not necessarily looking for jobs, but because I wanted to know the kind of skills I needed to get in. And I was just seeing all sorts of opportunities, and they were just endless, all different project management, business analysts, HR analyst, HRS analyst, HRS. There were just loads and loads of opportunities. And the only thing preventing me from accessing those opportunities was the gap I had, which I then discovered that I needed to fill that to be able to access those opportunities and get into the space.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Thelma. So for everybody in the house that at a certain point in time I felt like, oh, the space is too saturated. I hope that helps you. I hope that helps reconfigure your thought process about the tech space. Okay. So I have just one final question for everybody before we end the session for today. Okay. So I'll start with Bukola. All right. So what would be the advice you give to anybody, male, female, or female most importantly? Okay, so what would be the advice you give to anybody looking to get into the tech space and is hesitant towards getting into the tech space? What would be your advice basically?
Well, I guess I'll just tell them to go for it, because even right now, I'm still encouraging my friends to to just give it a try. I mean, it's not that crazy hard. You already use Excel at work. For goodness sake, just give this thing a shot. You're gonna be able to, because they always have this notion and preconception that, oh my God, I don't have the head for it. It's gonna fly over my head. So I'm like, no, it's not like that. It's absolutely not like that. You can't do it. It's just what you just need to have the right mindset and don't go in like scared and all of that. And so, yeah, that's just the advice I give my friend. That's what I'm gonna tell anyone else, to just go for it. And even right now, I think it's even much more easier. What with the advent of AIs and all of that, it even makes our life so much more easier. So I think anyone and everyone can do whatever they want right now.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Bukola. So Bukola says go for it, okay? Just go for it, all right? And that's to anybody here looking to get into tech. And I assume that over 90% of the people on this call are looking to get into tech. So before the session ends, not to worry, you'd already have made up your mind on which tech career path to go into, okay? So just sit back and then go for it, just like Bukola said. So same question to you, Lois. What would be your advice to anybody looking to get started in tech?
Um, okay, so one thing I've noticed is that most times in spaces where I find myself, I either end up being the only woman or being the only Black woman. And that brings me to think that if it is possible for me to talk to women, especially like you mentioned, especially for this month, I would want to know why. Why do they feel like, they can't do this? Why do they feel like tech is not for them? It's just for certain kind of people, not just men, women too, but everybody. Why do you feel like, this tech is not for you? Because it is true. Personally, like I said, I don't have a tech background. I don't know how to do certain things. But the thing is, every single person in tech started from zero. Nobody was born with the skills. Nobody knew how to do Excel, Jira, whatever it is. We all learned it and we all started somewhere. And so if we can do it, you can do it as well. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The industry is totally male dominated, and that's the more reason why we need women to come out there, women to be at the table, women to be part of the decisions, women to be data analysts. Imagine saying you're an HR data analyst, an HR data scientist, and so on. So definitely, if you are someone who is looking into, if you are considering tech, either as a male or as a female, I'm going to say just a very simple thing. If you feel like the you are interested and you don't if you feel like you don't belong in tech, I just want you to remember this, that the best way for you to prove to people that you actually belong into that space is for you to walk the talk, and that's going to be your answer.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Lois. Okay, so the industry is male dominated, like you said, and then the best way to actually get into tech is just get to and then walk the talk like you guys have done, all right, and are still doing. So, Talma, please let us know what your advice would be to anybody looking to get started in tech.
I'll say don't think about it too much. I was going through the chat now and I just saw someone saying what kind of tech will be accessible if I want to make it high. And I think that's already setting yourself up for issues because you're already thinking of how do you make it high. Just start small. Don't think about it so much. Just start from the little ones. Do a skill assessment, do a personality test. What kind of person am I? What are my skills? What can work for a particular role? You could be hearing everybody talk about, oh, it's programming. It's programming. That's what brings money, or that's how to get into tech. And like me, you start programming and you just get it wrong. And unless you're determined, you just cut yourself off because you feel like, oh, I can't be a programmer. Or like Lois that thought that, oh, she wanted to do data analysis, but then she found out, oh, this is not for me. But then she found a space in project management. Don't think about it too much. That's what I would say. Don't think about it too much at all. Just start small. Start where you are. Find out who you are, what your strengths are, and how you can fit into a tech role with the strength, because that's how you also grow. With the strength that you have, how do you fit into a particular tech role or a particular job within the tech space?
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that, Thelma. So Bukola says go for it. Lois says walk the talk. And then Thelma says don't think about it too much. Okay. Thank you, beautiful ladies, for sharing all of your journey and success stories with us today. Thank you for being a huge part of our success story and for taking out your time to actually come talk to our participants about how you were able to land a job. I really do appreciate you taking out the time. So this is where we will conclude the Q&A session. And in about 30 minutes, I saw iPhone's question that says, what kind of tech will be accessible if I want to make it high and all of that. So I'll talk to you about all of the tech paths available, the ones that you can easily learn and easily get a job in, all right? And we'll get into that right away in the next 30 minutes. So meanwhile, Bukola, Thelma, and Lois, thank you so much for sharing with me and for being my guest today. Okay, feel free to actually drop off, or you could actually stay back to take one or two questions if there are any questions for you in the chat. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
See you some other time. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. If that was worth your time, if you enjoyed the session with the ladies, please leave a yes in the chat. If you enjoyed the session with the ladies, if it was worth your time, please leave a yes in the chat. Absolutely. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, iPhone, Ebenezer. All right. Okay, so let's get into the other half of today's session, okay? We're getting to the other half of the session today. So I'll share my screen and immediately you can see my screen. Please let me know that you can see my screen. Okay, so I'm sharing that. Okay, so can we all see my screen, please? I'm just going to check the chat on my end. Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. Great. So this is my screen. I just wanted to bring up the other part so we actually see my screen in full. Okay, and I'll just go straight up to talk about the other things that we have to do today. All right, give me a minute. I think I have a bit of issues sharing. Okay, so this is it, majorly. All right, Sophia, please confirm that you can see my screen.
Hi, Priscilla. Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. So we've heard there's an interference from you. All right, So we've had the ladies talk about how they were able to get started in tech, how they found out that, okay, this is the path I want to get into, this is what I want to do in tech. And just like iPhone asked in the chat, what tech path do I get into? Okay, and then how do you get a job in tech? It's not just about getting into a career path, it's about getting a job in tech, because I know that nobody wants to fall into the loop of endless learning. So you've heard these success stories that these beautiful ladies have shared with us today. And then some of us might be wondering, how do I get a job? But first of all, what tech career path can I go into first? So here at Analytics, what we've done is we've created a structure around certain tech career paths that will enable you land your goal or get the job that you are looking out for. Okay, so I'll just go right into it now. Now, the first step to getting a job in tech is by identifying and choosing the right career path. Identifying and choosing the right career path. That's the first step to get into tech. There are tons of career paths in tech, but which of them is easy to get into? Which of them would land you the job the fastest? Okay, so just like one of the ladies said, you could just get overwhelmed with, you'd hear some people say it's data analytics, you hear some people say it's UI UX designing, it's software development and all of that, but which one is the right one for you? So I'll talk to you about that today. And my promise to you by the end of this session is you understand exactly which career paths are in demand and how you can position yourself to land a high-paying job in 2025. Just like the ladies we've seen and spoken to tonight, just like how they were able to land job in certain career paths. So you learn which of the career paths are in demand, which one resonates the most with you, and how you can get a job in these career paths. So what are the career paths majorly, and what are the tech skills to learn and get a job quickly? So what we've done at Analytics is, before the year runs out, 4 months into the start of the new year, we go into job boards such as LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Total Jobs, and the likes. And these we look at specific locations, which is the UK, US, Canada, and they are the major economy. So we look at the jobs that are posted the most, the jobs that are in demand. All right, so that's what we do. And then we do our analysis on this job post so that we're able to identify the tech skills and the tech career path that people can easily land a job in, and they are in high demand. So after our data analysis, we actually just pokes it with 3 criteria. We just opposed it with 3 major criteria. The first one being ease of learning. These jobs that we actually discovered that are posted, how easy is it to learn these jobs? Okay. The second one is ease of transitioning. And regardless of your background, how can you get a job after learning? So regardless of you're an art student and all of that, you had no science background, you had no tech background, okay? How can you easily learn? That's the first criterion. The second one is, how can you easily get a job, which is ease of transitioning, And then the third is high rewarding salary. Everybody wants tech money, all right? So we've ensured that all of these tech career paths that we're bringing to you, they fit into this criteria. The first is ease of learning, like I said, regardless of your background. I'm reiterating that for everybody on the call. So regardless of your background, how can you easily learn these skills? The second is, how can you easily get a job? And the third is, how do you make money off this job? All right, so we actually measured it with this criteria, and then we're able to find out these 8 career paths that are in high demand. The first is business analysis. The second is agile project management and scrum master. The third is data analytics. The fourth is data science. The fifth is data engineering. We have cybersecurity, financial analytics, and HR analytics. Okay, so sorry, Sophia, can you hear me? Because I can see a notification that you're asking me to speak. All right. So like I said, these are the 8 career paths that we were able to decipher. Okay. The first one is business analysis. The second one is agile project management and Scrum Master. Just saying that again, just in case you did not catch it. The third is data analytics. The fourth is data science. The fifth is data engineering. We have cybersecurity, financial analytics, and HR analytics. So with these 8 career paths, they are easy to learn. The first. Second is you would easily get a job with these career paths. And the third is they would come with high rewarding salary. So just so that it's not that it's just analytics that is just saying that, we needed external validation, something to show you that, okay, our analysis is actually validated. Okay, so we took a look at the future of jobs report according to the World Economic Forum. So the World Economic Forum is a congregation of global leaders such as Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and all of that, industry leaders. Okay, and they come to chart the course of the tech space and other industries in the next couple of years. And according to this future of job report, they've said that in the next 5 years, between now and 2030, okay, 5 years, 2025 and 2030, 170 million jobs will be created. All right. So if you ever have the notion that, oh, the tech space is too saturated, just as Lois said, no problems keep coming up. Okay. And then between now and 2030, 170 million jobs will be created, while 92 million jobs will disappear. So one thing you want to know is, what are the jobs that will disappear and what are the jobs that will be created? So this is from the Future of Jobs report by the World Economic Forum. And just like I've said, my colleague is sharing the attendance. If you want a link to this report, it's embedded in my slide. And afterwards, you can just go through, read, and digest everything that I'm saying today. So we have, amongst the 170 million jobs that will be created, which are those, okay? Which one would fizzle out and which one would actually remain, okay, for you to actually get a job in? So at the right of my screen, you would see that I have on this slide, you will see 2 charts basically. The first to the right is showing jobs that will decline. Okay, the first is showing jobs that will decline. All right, and we have jobs such as mechanical engineer. So I'm just going to take my pen to see if I can highlight that for us. So we have mechanical engineers. All right, we have compliance officers, financial and investment advisors, relationship managers, and the likes. These jobs will actually fizzle out. These jobs will decline in the next 5 years. So to the left, you see the jobs that will grow, the jobs that will be in high demand, in the tech space. And the first we have, so I'm just going to, can we all see my screen, please? Sophia, please confirm that you can see my screen. I'm taking a look at the chat now. Please confirm that you can see my screen. All right. Thank you, Chukemeka. So the first we have is data engineers. Okay. And what are these roles under the data engineering pathway that won't be declining? So we have the big data specialist, the data warehousing specialist, and the data engineers. All of these roles are under data engineering. And if you get into the data engineering pathway, you would actually not struggle with getting a job. Okay. So this is to actually show you that the tech space is not all that saturated like we've been made to know. Okay, and then in the next 5 years, like I've said, a couple of jobs will be created, 170 million, and you want to position yourself properly for these job roles. Then the second one we're looking at is the data analytics and data science pathway. So under the data analytics and data science pathway, we have the AI and machine learning specialist, and we also have the data analyst and scientist. So all of this, so I'll just go to the third one before I make a conclusion. Then we have the cybersecurity pathway, and under the cybersecurity, you'd actually be able to apply for information security analyst, Internet of Things specialist, as well as security management specialist role. This is just under cybersecurity. You can see that each tech path, each pathway has roles, multiple roles that you can apply to. Okay, so now the fourth one we'll look at is the business analysis pathway, and we have the process automation specialist under business analysis. Okay, so moving on, let's take a look at data analyst again. So we can see the business intelligence analyst role, and that's under data analytics. You can see the database architect, that's under data engineering. And then you can see the agile project manager, that's under project management. Okay, and then we have business analysis again. So you can see that each of this tech career paths that we're bringing to you, they have job roles in them that you can easily get. Don't forget the three criteria. The first one being ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and high rewarding salary. And then according to the future of job report, a lot of jobs will fizzle out, okay? About 92 million jobs will disappear, but we have 170 million that will be created. And each of these parts we are bringing to you, they are amongst the jobs that will grow in the next 5 years. So as soon as you get my slide, you can actually take a look at this report, download the full report and actually read it so that you know everything that I'm saying here. Okay, so just moving forward, I'd like to show you some success stories. Okay, I'd like to show you some success stories and all of that. Some people might feel like, oh, can I get into tech with my background and experience? So I'll show you some people that have actually gotten into tech with no prior experience. Okay, and I'd like to play the videos for you, but before this session ends, I'm actually going to do that. Meanwhile, the first person here is Adetayo. So Adetayo took our cybersecurity training, and the way our trainings are structured is such that we don't advise you to wait till the end of the training before applying for a job. So Adetayo, you would see how I got a job within 60 to 70% completion rate of my cybersecurity training. So you don't have to wait till the end before you start applying for jobs. This is how much we equip you with. This is the structure we've built around each of these tech career paths. Okay, so we also have Toyin here, and then we have a couple of people that have actually gotten jobs as financial analysts, data analysts, and all of that. Like I said, I'm supposed to do this in the next 30 minutes, and then before the session ends, I'm going to play videos for you so that you actually get to hear these people speak as well. So this is more testimonial. So we have Ikmat. Ikmat had no prior experience before getting into tech, but she was able to get a visa sponsored job. Okay, and that's with the help of 10Alytics. So I've shown you that there are certain tech career paths that you can easily get into and easily get a job in. And now I'm showing you, apart from the three beautiful ladies that came to speak to us initially, I'm showing you more testimonials about people without prior experience that have gotten jobs, and not just any kind of jobs. They've also gotten visa sponsored jobs. Okay, so we have Ikmat. Ikmat was a full-time stay-at-home mom. She moved to the UK for her master's, and then she joined our data analytics program. She was able to secure a job as a data analyst with the NHS, and it came with full visa sponsorship. Okay, we also have Ramat without prior experience. Okay, she was a customer success rep in the UK. Okay, she joined our business analysis program, our training program, and thereafter she was able to get a job as a business architect with the NHS. This also came with full visa sponsorship. And then we have Toyin as well. All right, so as soon as you get my slide, you can just go ahead to actually look at these success stories and actually learn from these success stories as well. So what are the skills that will land you the job, okay? I've mentioned, just to get a feel of, I just want to know if you're following me, I've mentioned the HR analyst, I've mentioned the business analytics, business analysis, I've mentioned the full stack data science, cybersecurity, data engineering, financial analyst, HR analyst. Which of these parts do you think resonates with you? Just let me know in the chat. Okay, I know I haven't explained the parts in details, but which of these parts do you think resonates with you? We have HR analyst, business analyst, financial analyst, full stack data science, data engineering, and cybersecurity, and the like. So which of them do you think resonates with you, of everything I've said so far? So Lainka is saying financial analyst, iPhone is saying cybersecurity, Paul says full stack data science, Joy says business analyst. Thank you so much for interacting with me. But I believe we have like 76 people on this call, and I've only been able to get 5 responses. So guys, please, if you can hear me clearly, just let me know which of these parts resonate with you. Okay, Pamela said cybersecurity as well. So what I want to do now, Prince says data engineering. So what I want to do now is explain each of these career paths to you, so that you know what they are about, and you know if it is what resonates with you best. So I'll start with the business analyst. So the business analyst majorly is like a bridge, or a business analyst is like a bridge between technical stakeholders and non-technical stakeholders. So to bring that into perspective, okay, let's say that you buy bags from a company that would take 5 days to deliver that bag to you, right? So you met them on Instagram, Twitter, on Facebook, and the likes, or you even got access to their platform, and then you would place an order for a bag, and then it would take 5 days for them to get the bag to you. All right, and then you found out another company, but these ones would deliver to you in 3 days. Okay, instead of the 5 days, they deliver to you in 3 days. Which of these companies would you continue with? The one that delivers in 5 days, or the one that delivers in 3 days? Which of these companies would you continue with? Please, I'd like to get exactly. So Blessing says 3 days. Okay, so absolutely, there's nobody that would actually get a better offer and wouldn't like a better offer. Okay, so you have one that delivers in 5 days and the other one that delivers in 3 days, and it's a no-brainer. Everybody would actually go to the company that delivers in 3 days. Now, say that the business that delivers in 5 days, the one where you order a bag from, and then it takes 5 days for them to deliver that bag to you. Say that they figure that we're losing customers. Okay, our customers are now moving towards our competitor that is able to deliver in 3 days as opposed to our 5 days. How do we make our process better? Okay, how do we make our process better? Now, what a business analyst does in this scenario and situation is, a business analyst comes into the organization, and takes a look at the process. Every organization is made up of 3 key aspects: the process, the people, and the technology. Okay, so they take a look at the process. That's a business analyst takes a look at the process and discovers that the first day when you place the order, be it on any platform, Instagram and all of that, when you place the order, the business waits for about 24 hours so that it gets more orders before taking it to the warehouse to actually check if those orders are available. So it takes the business 24 hours. They wait to get bulk orders from other customers apart from yourself that have placed orders. And then the next day, they're going to the warehouse to check if they actually have those bags. So when they check, they sort out your order. And then in the 3rd day, they take your order to a delivery company. Okay, in the 3rd day, they take your order to a delivery company so that it sends your order out to you. The 4th day, the delivery company sets out, with your order, and everything being equal, on the 5th day you get your order. So that is the current process. That is the as-is process. And what a business analyst does, like I've said, is take note of this process. This is the current process we have, 5 days, but we're losing customers. How do we make this process better? So the business analyst maps out the process. Everything that I'm saying now, the whole point of taking the process is to map the process, and then map it to actually come up with a future process, a to-be process. This is what we have now. We want to deliver in 2 days, or even same day delivery. From 5 days, we want to move to 2 days. Okay, so that is the future state. That is the to-be state. Now, the business analyst identifies the gap in your 5-day process and say, oh, you don't have to wait 24 hours before you actually go to the inventory, okay, to check if this person's order is available. We can come up with an application that would actually help with all these processes, okay. We can come up with an application that would help these processes, and then the business analyst suggests that to the stakeholder, say the CEO and all of that, and then the CEO makes a requirement. Okay, this is what I want to be in the application. The first thing is I want it to be user friendly, both for employees and both for customers. Second is I want a delivery company integrated with my application such that as soon as a customer is making an order, and sorting out payment, a delivery company is able to pick that order, and the next day they are going to deliver, or even if they are available at the time, they are going to deliver. Okay, so the stakeholder is listing out all the requirements. The first is I want it to be user friendly. The second is I want it to have an integration with a delivery system, okay, and then it should have a cart feature. The cart feature where you go on Jumia and Amazon and all of that, and then you keep picking items and it goes into your cart, okay? And then it should also have an inventory feature such that if a particular bag is not available, you are able to see immediately you are placing the order that the bag isn't available. So all of this is just to ensure that we're able to beat competitors and we're able to make delivery between that day that you placed your order and the next day. Maximum is 2-day delivery, okay, to help us stay in business, okay. So what a business analyst does is take that requirement that the stakeholder has mentioned that they have, okay, and then communicate with the technical stakeholder, the people in charge of building the app. All right, that is the software developers, the UI UX designers, the testers and all of that, okay. So the business analyst communicates all of those requirements to the technical stakeholders and ensures that they deliver the exact product that the stakeholders have requested for. So you can see basically that a business analyst doesn't need to code or do any technical stuff, but they come into an organization and makes the process efficient, optimize processes. They notice the gaps in processes and they are able to optimize and make those processes efficient. That is the job of a business analyst. They identify the key stakeholders involved, okay? So for this application, who are our stakeholders? Both the technical and non-technical, they get all the requirements, okay? And then they are able to ensure that the exact product that was needed by the non-technical stakeholders are what is being delivered. So this is basically who a business analyst is. Okay, they ensure effective communication and understanding of requirements. And if you learn to be a business analyst with 10Alytics, what are the key learning areas? Okay, the first thing you will learn is Excel, Power BI, and SQL. So we noticed over time that recruiters actually prefer business analysts with a data analyst knowledge. Okay, so that way you are able to actually analyze data as a business analyst and spot the gaps in processes. Okay, so that is why we included Excel, Power BI, and SQL as the first thing you will be learning if you take the business analyst course with 10Alytics. Okay, the second thing you'll be learning is process mapping. Remember, you are getting the current process, which is the Accees process, and then you are mapping it to identify gaps to make it more efficient, basically. Now, the third thing you will learn is project initiation planning and agile and scrum for projects. So say that, the application that you actually recommended to the organization, that application is a project. Say that you are in an organization that does not have a project manager, what do you do? So this is why we included project initiation planning and agile and scrum for projects, just to ensure that you have the ability to actually start a project and also end the project. You can see that Lois took our business analysis program. She took our business analysis program and she's able to function properly as a project manager. Okay, so after you learn project initiation planning, and Agile and Scrum for project. You also get to learn software development lifecycle. Okay, then you get to learn requirement fundamentals. You get to learn elicitation. You get to learn stakeholder analysis and engagement. You also get to learn ChatGPT for business analysis. Yes, AI is currently in vogue now, and then what we do is ensure that we teach you how to use AI such that you are able to make your processes, your workflow more efficient. So these are the key learning areas in the business analysis pathway with 10Alytics. So after taking the business analysis course, you are able to apply for the role of a data analyst because you've learned Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Okay, you're also able to apply for the role of a project manager because you've learned project initiation planning and Agile and Scrum for projects. Then the next thing you learn is software development lifecycle. So how do we start that application that we built? The first thing is for planning phase and all of that. Then you move over to design and everything in the software development lifecycle. You learn how to gather requirements, how to do your stakeholder analysis and engagement. And mind you, each of these learning areas will be taught to you from beginner level. So you're learning, our model is the zero to hero model. Okay, you learn everything as a beginner. Okay, and then we're just going to head over to the tools that you'll be learning as well in the process of discharging your job. Excel, SQL, Power BI, like I said. You learn Lucidchart and Draw.io for your process mapping and all of that. You learn Confluence, you learn Jira, Trello, you learn Azure DevOps and ChatGPT for business analysis. Okay, so the way our classes are structured are you have your classes on Saturdays. So if you are staying in the UK, Europe, UK, Africa, and you'd like to learn in the morning, our classes are from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. All right, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. Then we have, see, you're in the North America, Canada, US, and the likes. We have the evening class for you. What we consider as the evening class is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time, and that should be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That is for participants in North America. So apart from Saturday class where you get to interface with a facilitator, speak to a facilitator, work on more projects, we also have the self-paced learning approach, which is the watch me doing videos approach. So we have videos provided to you. I'll show you the videos and the platform that houses these videos. And we have these videos provided to you, so much so that at the comfort of your home and time, from Sunday to Friday, you are able to take 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day and watch these videos. Okay, so you don't have to be in class all the time. You have your self-paced videos, and then you have your live classes. Okay, so I would also go ahead to talk about the learning timeline. So the learning timeline for you to be a business analyst is 8 months. All right, so you get 6 months learning in class. You learn wholesomely, comprehensively 6 months, and then you get your 2 months internship. The internship is to ensure that you have as much project as you can in your portfolio. It's very important for anybody looking to break into the tech space. I'll talk about the importance of portfolio as we move on. But basically, the learning timeline is 6 months learning in class and 2 months internship. So I'll move to the project management role. I'm just going to get these annotations of my screen. Then I'll move to the agile project management role. So as an agile project manager, I believe I touched on a part of it while I was explaining the business analysis. What do you do as an agile project manager? So you are more like a facilitator and a coach for a team that works on projects using the agile methodology. Let me put this into perspective for you. So say that you need to build an application. So a project manager is in charge of planning for that project, ensuring that the time it will take to build that project is within the said time frame, it is within budget, and you deliver value. So that's the job of a project manager, to ensure that the execution of the project is timely and within budgets. So say that you have an application to build as a project manager. All right, you have an application to build. What a traditional project manager will do is make plans. Okay, say in 8 months we'll be able to deliver this project. 8 months is 8 months, we'll be able to deliver this, but they've made plans. This is how we'll build the UI, this is what we'll put in the interface, this is where we'll have the buttons for the application and all of that, and then they plan for 8 months. They cannot make any change to that application because they've broken down the plans and they've said in 8 months we'll be able to do this. But the business is growing. You need to ship out something. Do you wait for 8 months? No. This is where the Agile Project Management or the Agile Project Manager has an edge. So the Agile Project Manager uses a methodology which is called the Agile methodology. With the Agile methodology, you don't have to wait 8 months to build that application. Rather, you break down each pieces of that application into 2 or 4 weeks. They're called sprints. So you just keep building each feature, but you first of all have to ensure that as an Agile project manager that you ship an MVP out within a month. It could exceed a month, but basically you ship the most viable product, something with the basic features such that customers can use. Within a month, you've put that out, and you keep improving on each feature based on customer feedback. So you keep getting feedback, and you're improving on each feature. I know that everybody here uses WhatsApp, and then some few years back, there was no way you could actually send a voice note on WhatsApp status. Okay, but now you have that. That is the Agile workflow. That is the Agile methodology. You keep improving. You get feedback and keep improving. Now, let me give you an example. I don't know how many of us know Naira Land. Does anybody know Naira Land? If you know Naira Land, just leave a yes in the chat. If you know Naira Land is like a blogging platform. Blessing says no. So I would have loved to show you, but maybe I could do that at the end of the session. So if you see Naira Land, right from when Naira Land was made, there's not been any improvement to that application. And that was because it was just traditional project management that went into the production of that blog site. Okay. So with the Agile project management, you don't get to have something stable, throughout the duration. For the entire duration of Naira Land, it will be impossible to tweak things around, improve on the features and all of that. The way it was 10 years ago, that's the way it is now. But the world is evolving constantly. Customers are having feedback. You need to make your site or your application, whatever it is, as easy to use as possible. They are giving you feedback, and you're ensuring that as an Agile project manager, you are implementing those feedback. Okay, so that's what you do as an Agile project manager. You follow the Agile methodology, which banks on constant feedback, and improving, on features that have been shipped out to customers. All right. So as an Agile project manager with Analytics, these are the key learning areas that you get to learn. So the first thing you learn is introduction to project management methodologies and structure. Like I said, this program takes you from 0 to hero level. All right, so the first thing you learn is introduction to the various project management methodologies and structure. Thereafter, you get to learn project management skills and communication. How do you communicate as a project manager? You're handling people. One of the most difficult things, if you haven't worked with people and handled people before, you think like it's a really simple thing. Oh, this person has to do their task. This person has to do their task. And you feel like everybody knows what to do. But that's not the case usually. You need to actually push people and communicate as a project manager. You need to always ensure that everybody is actually delivering on their task. Okay, so you definitely need to learn the project management skills and communication. The third thing you learn is foundations of Agile and Scrum. Okay, then you get to learn the Scrum framework, you get to learn the Scrum artifacts, advanced Scrum and Agile practices, end-to-end use of Jira and Confluence in projects. You get to learn Kanban boards for workflow management, agile metrics and reporting, leadership and real-world application, Nexus scaled Scrum, and preparation for after taking all of these courses under the Agile Project Manager, you are able to prepare for the Professional Scrum Master examination. So if you take our Agile Project Management course, you are also able to become a Scrum Master. And these are the tools and technologies you'll be using. You'll be using Confluence, Jira, and Trello. All of this is to ensure that you deliver on your task as a project manager. So you'd use Confluence for project collaboration and tracking of tasks. As the tester tested the feature that was shipped out, or before it shipped out, did he actually test it? You track tasks using Confluence. You also use Jira for tracking project deliverable. Okay, so what is the front-end engineer delivering today? You use Jira to track project deliverables. You also track bugs, stories, and epic using Jira. And then you also get to use Trello. You learn how to use Trello for team collaboration, to collaborate and track progress of projects. Okay, so you also have the same learning structure. You get to learn on Saturdays, your live class. If you are in Europe, UK, Africa, you get to learn in the morning, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. And then you also get to learn in the evening if you're in North America and Canada. You can see how flexible we are. Everything to ensure that we're always delivering value to you as our customers. So you also have your self-paced watch me do videos, all right? And then this also is the 8 months learning timeline. So you have 6 months in class and 2 months internship. So we'll go to the data engineering pathway, okay? We'll go to the data engineering pathway. I just need you to get your notepad and pen. All these things I'm saying, just note down things, and I need you to also be thinking about which of them resonates more with you. Okay, so just get your notepad and pen and just note down things. So who is a data engineer basically? Who is a data engineer? So let's say that let's take a bank for an example. Let's use the GT Bank, GTB, okay? And let's say that the chairman of GT Bank says that I want to know which of our banking channels is being used the most. So they have the POS, point of sale, they have the ATM, they have a website, and they have an application. They want to know which of these banking channels are used the most. That's the question that the chairman has. But then since they have all these channels, let me see if I can just annotate. So they have all these banking channels. They have the POS, pardon my handwriting. They have the ATM, automated teller machine. They have the website, the GTB has a website, and then they have an application, okay? And then the chairman wants to know which of these channels do customer use the most. The POS, please flow with me. The POS has its database, right? After you transact with the POS, as a customer, you make transactions and all of that. It gets stored in the POS database. The ATM has its own database. The website has its own database, and then the application has its own database. So the chairman wants to know which of these channels are used the most. But all of these channels have their data stored in their various databases. So how will the chairman's question be answered? How the data engineer comes into play is the data engineer takes all this data from these databases and builds a central location, called a data warehouse. So the data engineer builds a central location such that data from the POS database would flow into the data warehouse, data from the ATM database would flow, data from the website will flow, data from the application will flow into the data warehouse that the data engineer has built, such that the analyst or the data scientist takes the information from this central location, and then they are able to answer the question of the chairman that says which of these channels do customers use the most. So think of a data data engineer like as a plumber that ensures that water flows from a central into a central location, pardon me, that ensures that water flows. So you have the POS, the ATM website and all of that, and then it builds a central location such that the data flows into that location, be it the POS and all of that. It flows into the central location, and then you can easily use it for analysis. So this is majorly the role of a data engineer, okay? They're in charge of designing, constructing, and maintaining infrastructure, including databases and large-scale processing systems that allow for the storage and retrieval of data majorly. So they build a central warehouse, maintain that central warehouse such that data from all of these databases keeps flowing into this central warehouse and is available for analysis, okay? So you would see when we get to the data scientists, data analysts, you would actually see more of the benefit of a data engineer. So without the data engineer, the data analyst and data scientist would not get data to work with. Okay, so the data engineer is in charge of building warehouses that store large data. Okay, so the key learning areas in our data engineering program is you first of all learn introduction to data engineering. Remember, always zero to hero level, you have to learn the basics first, and then you get to learn structured query language. This is language for databases. You get to learn Python programming, you get to learn Linux, you get to learn how to build custom ETL pipelines. So the process of building a central warehouse such that all the data from those channels goes into the warehouse is called the ETL process and the ETL pipeline. That is extract the data from all of those channels, transform the data, and then load them into the warehouse. Okay, you want to automate that process such that you don't have to keep building data warehouses for each channel every time a transaction is made. So you automate the process using Apache Spark, Apache Airflow. You also get to learn cloud engineering to store the databases in the data on the cloud. Then you learn version control for GitHub and ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. So this is what you get to learn as a data engineer with 10Alytics. They are termed as the big data brothers, okay? Because they're in charge of building a pipeline, that ensures that data is collected from various channels into one central location, thereby making data available. So these are the tools and technologies, as you also have the Saturday live classes here, and then you have the watch me do videos that you get to watch within your own time. The learning timeline is also for 8 months. So let's talk about the data analyst. So like I've said, so as a data analyst, there are 2 important questions that you get to answer. Okay, as a data analyst, 2 important questions that you get to answer. What happened and why it happened? Okay, what happened and why it happened? That is the question you answer on your job as a data analyst. So let's take this for an example, right? Let's just use 10Alytics for an example. Hypothetically, let's say that we sold to all of our participants within January to August last year. We want to see, okay, what month did we have the highest sales? Okay, what month did we have the highest customers patronizing us? So what a data analyst does, remember what happened. So what month did we want to see? What month did we have the highest customers patronizing us? So that's what a data analyst wants to answer. Now, a data analyst picks up the data, and builds charts, builds dashboard that would show the organization what happened between January to August. So they build charts and dashboard that will show you what happened between January to August, such that as a company, you know that, okay, this is where we were as at January to June, okay? This is where we were, this is what happened, this is how much customers we had in January, this is how much we had in February, March, April, May, up until June, okay? Then they noticed that in June, they had the most customers. In June, we had the most customers, all right? A data analyst goes further. A data analyst has figured that this is what happened. we know that in June we had the most customers based off our analysis. So why did we have the most customers in June? Two questions. What happened and why it happened. So with what happened, we've been able to see that we had the most customers after analyzing the data. We've been able to see that we had the most customers in the month of June. So why did we have, what happened? What did we do differently? Why did we have the most customers in June? This is where why did it happen comes into play. So they further analyzed to find out that, oh, so we changed our target audience in June. We targeted people in the UK, we made it in such a way that, or we tweaked our ads such that it got to people in the UK, and people in the UK patronized us the most, okay? So they found out that that was what happened, okay? We have more customers from the UK. We changed tweaked our ads such that it got to people in the UK, and we had a lot of patronage from people in the UK. So you can see what happened, why it happened. That is basically the role of a data analyst, okay? What happened and why it happened. You could just take that down for those of us that data analytics is quite interesting for. So what happened, you get to answer what happened and why it happened using data. All right. Now, the key learning areas in the data analytics program with 10Alytics is, the first is problem solving. As a data analyst, your major goal, your major task and responsibility is to solve problem. So you basically need an eye that spots problem, and this is why we teach you problem solving. Okay, so you get to learn various problems and the various problem solving techniques that we have. Okay, you get to learn the various problem solving techniques that we have. Okay, we have the McKinsey process and all of that you get to solve problems with. Okay, the next thing you get to learn after learning how to spot problems is how to solve these problems using tools and application. So you get to learn Excel for analytics as well. You get to learn how to build a dashboard in Excel and all of that. You also get to learn structured query language, which is SQL, structured query language. This is the language of database. Remember that I explained data engineering earlier. He has built a warehouse that contains data and probably has it in a database. So you want to answer questions, and then you realize that this company actually has their data stored in a database. So what language do you use to query the data in the database? That is your SQL, which is the structured query language. We teach you that, okay? And then we go ahead to teach you Power BI. Excel is quite limited, okay, in terms of the number of data it can take. I think about 10 million rows and all of that. So that is why you need to learn Power BI. You use Power BI for your data visualization and data analysis as well. Then you get to also learn Tableau. You also get to learn Tableau, and then after you have analyzed this data, after you've seen what happened and why it happened, how do you communicate to non-technical stakeholders? Your CEO doesn't understand Excel. Your CEO doesn't understand Power BI and all of that. They don't even care about what process you use for your analysis. They just want to know what happened and why it happened. How do you communicate that to them? Do you just build your chart and just take it to them, okay, this is what I have with this chart and all of that? You need to learn how to tell story, to capture the attention of the stakeholders such that they are able to make insightful decisions, data-driven decisions from your analysis. So that's where data storytelling comes into play. We teach you how to tell story with your data. Then we move to ChatGPT for analytics. As always, we're in the world of AI. You need to learn how to use AI to do your job as a data analyst, okay? Then we also get to learn Microsoft Fabric and ChatGPT for analytics. So these are the key learning areas under the data analytics pathway, and these are the tools and technologies you will be learning. Like I said, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, Excel, ChatGPT, Microsoft Fabric, and how to solve problems as well. So the learning structure is still same. You get to learn on Saturday. You have the morning and evening class, and the morning class are for people in Europe, and you just get to come in class, learn from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. The evening class are for people in Canada, US, North America, majorly, and they get to learn from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You also have your self-paced watch me doing videos. These are the videos that you watch in the you could just pace it. So okay, say I could do 2 hours from Monday to Friday, and then you're done with these videos. They prepare you for class, and they just ensure that you don't have to be in class all the time, from Monday to Friday and all of that. So you just come to class on Saturday, but you have videos that you've already watched and have prepped you for your live class. So the learning timeline is also 8 months. Okay, you have 6 month learning in class and 2 months of internship. So let's move over to the data scientist. So I just like to get our feedback at this point. I just want to know if we're following. So what are the 2 questions that a data analyst answers? I mentioned 2 questions basically. Does anybody remember? You could just put that in the chat. I'll be looking at the chat and anticipating your response in the chat. What are the 2? Yes, what and why? What happened and why it happened? Thank you so much, Mary Jane. Is anybody else here? And you could just probably just let me know. I just need to know, yeah, exactly what happened and why it happened. Okay, so now, who is a data scientist? A data scientist takes it further. Apart from what happened, why it happened, they are able to also decipher what will happen. They are able to forecast into the future what will happen based off this data that we have. I would use that same scenario that I used. So 10Alytics has figured that in June they made the most sales because they changed their ads and they were able to target people in the UK, and people in the UK patronized, and that's why they had the most customers in June. So what will happen in July, August, September, October, November, December? That is where the data scientist comes into play. The data scientist ensures that it takes all of those data from January to June, and then is able to use that data to forecast what will happen in the future. Okay, it feeds the data to a model, or it just makes forecasts using Excel and then or Python, as the case may be, and is able to figure that this is what will happen. We need to make plans for what will happen. Okay, that is what the data scientist does in a nutshell. They are able to add, apart from what happened, why it happened, they are able to take that further and predict what will happen in the future. Okay, so that's majorly the role of a data scientist, and they majorly apply advanced analytics, statistics, and machine learning techniques to derive meaningful insights and build predictive models. Okay, predictive models. This is what a data scientist does. So what are the key learning areas under the data science program with 10Alytics? The first thing you'll be learning is statistics. Okay, that's the first thing you'll be learning as a data scientist. You learn statistics. Thereafter, you get to learn forecasting and predictive analytics using Microsoft Excel. How can you forecast with Microsoft Excel? As Microsoft Excel it actually is a very powerful tool. Okay, it is a very powerful tool, and then you get to learn how to do predictive analytics with Excel. You also get to learn Tableau for data analytics. You get to learn SQL, Python programming, exploratory data analysis. This is just to explore what you have in your data. Then you get to learn machine learning. This is where you feed the data into a model that you build such that it helps you forecast and predict what happens or what will happen. All right, then you get to learn computer vision. So if you can see me, you would see that my camera is only able to picture me as a person sitting in front of you. Every other thing behind me, it doesn't capture that. This is computer vision at work. The computer is only able to detect the image right in front of it. So you are able to do that as a data analyst. You also learn GitHub for version control. You learn ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot for coding. Then you get to learn Microsoft Fabric for analytics. So yes, just in case you're wondering, a data scientist can do the job of a data analyst and then takes it further to go into predictive modeling. Okay, so what are the tools and technologies? Like I said, Excel, SQL, Tableau, ChatGPT, Microsoft Fabric, Python, and the likes. Okay, then your learning structure is still same. You have Saturday for your live classes, and then you have your self-paced classes. You also get to learn for 8 months, 6 month learning and 2 months internship. So let's get into financial analyst. I need you to note all those roles down, because at the end of the day, I'll be asking you which of them you think resonates with you. So a financial analyst majorly is a data analyst that focuses on financial data. Okay, you are able to answer what happened and why it happened using financial data. So let's say that a startup wants to see, okay, if we sell, let's just use bag for an example. I don't know why that is coming to my mind, but let's just say that a company wants to, a startup business wants to see how much they will grow in the next 5 years. But then they're starting with, say, we'll start with selling 2 bags per day or 5 bags per day. And then with that, they're able to see, if we keep going like this, if our bags are at this price, this is how much will grow in the next 5 years. So even if a business wants to make a budget, the financial analyst comes in that capacity, where they are able to use financial data, make sense of the financial data, help the business make budgeting decisions and investment decisions using their data. If you also want to figure out how much do we need, what is the capital we need to start a business, the financial analyst does this, and then if you want to see what are we valued at, what are we valued at currently, if a company is looking to invest in our business, what are the ratios that they look at? This is the job of a financial analyst. They majorly are data analysts that are focused on financial data. So they evaluate financial data to provide insights into a company's financial performance and support data-driven decision making by the finance department. Okay, so you're not just a finance professional without analytics ability. Okay, so the key learning areas in our financial analytics problem are in our financial analytics program are problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. So you would notice that these 4 things, they're actually constant in the analytics space. Remember that a financial analyst is a data analyst that is focused on financial data. So you learn problem solving, Power BI, Excel, Power BI, SQL, before you move on to your accounting fundamentals, financial statement analysis, depreciation and amortization, financial modeling, how to build a financial model for a startup and even for an existing business, how to value a business and a company, and then how to do sensitivity and scenario analysis. Okay, so you've created a model for a company, and then you do your scenario analysis to see, okay, what if things don't go as we've planned? You have your base case, your worst case, and your best case. You do that as well as a financial analyst. Then you have ChatGPT for analytics. Okay, so those are the key learning areas under the financial analysis pathway. And the tools and technologies are Excel, Power BI, SQL, like I said. The learning pathways are still the same for you. Okay, so I'll move on to HR analytics. So who is a HR analyst? A data analyst that specializes or focuses on people data. Okay, a data analyst that focuses on people data. So using people data, they are able to help company make decisions. Remember, there are 3 key components in every organization: the people, the processes, and the technologies. The people is in charge of the technology, the people is in charge of the process. So every person in your organization has to be the right person for the job. So the HR analyst takes the people data and is able to decipher, okay, which job board gives us the best people, which job boards gives us the best employee. All right, they're able to analyze data and make data-driven decision. Which which employee is eligible for a raise in salary? Okay, you're not just doing that of, oh, I think this person is due for a raise. You're not doing that anymore. You're not using sentiment, you're not using emotions, you're using data to rate the performance of your employees, and you're using that to make decisions to ensure that at every point in time you have the best people for the job in your team, and you do that using data, no longer sentiments, no longer emotions. So okay, so as the key learning area in the HR analytics program is problem solving, Excel, Power BI, SQL, same as the financial analyst. Remember, HR analyst is a data analyst focused on people data. Okay, so you get to learn problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. You also get to learn HR analytics and performance evaluation. How can you evaluate performance? Okay, HR metrics and life cycle. You get to learn HR analysis and dashboarding, collaboration and report automation, building your case and creating action, as well as ChatGPT for analytics. So these are what you learn in the HR analytics pathway with 10Alytics. Remember, do not forget, all of these training programs are from 0 to hero level. We take you from beginner up until intermediate level, such that you are able to get a job. You know, there's no way you go through any of these learning areas and you're not able to get a job. There's no way at all. All right, so the learning pathway is still same. Saturdays you have your live class, and then you also have your videos, and you have that for 6 months. So the last role we have is the cybersecurity analyst. Okay, we have the cybersecurity analyst, just to also interact with us in the house. Has anybody's WhatsApp account been hacked? If your WhatsApp account has been hacked, leave a yes. I'm going to leave a yes because mine has been hacked. Okay, so I'm going to leave a yes in the chat. If your WhatsApp account has been hacked, please leave a yes in the chat. So I'm leaving a yes because absolutely, Derek, I can see you. Yes, your WhatsApp account has been hacked. Now, imagine what happened when your WhatsApp account got hacked. You know, the hacker probably sent messages to people, got money from people. Okay, got money from people and all of that. Imagine that was just you. They hacked me, and then they were able to get money off people that were close to me, family and friends. Imagine a hacker hacking into an organization's system. A hacker hacking into an organization. Let's take a bank for an example. All of your transaction details, all of your details are in the bank, you know, in the banking system, in the bank network, and then a hacker gets into that. Just imagine how much they'll be cutting away with. Okay, so the cybersecurity analyst basically is more like a professional who protects digital assets. Okay, they protect organization systems, you know, and networks from cyber threats. Okay, they protect organizations digital assets, you know, networks and all of that, their systems, their databases and all of that. They protect it from cyber threats. All right, so basically, as with the 10Alytics cybersecurity program, you get to choose 3 pathways that you decide on which one to go into. The first is the SOC analyst, the security operations center analyst. These are the people that actually detect issues and vulnerabilities in the organization system. Okay, so before the hacker is able to actually take advantage of the loophole and all of that, what the SOC analyst does is to actually detect these fishy actions in the system of the organization, and they are able to protect the organization from all of these vulnerabilities. The second is the penetration tester or the ethical hackers. Okay, these are the guys that actually they try to hack the system of the organization. You know, they're hacking the system of they're trying to hack the system of the organization they are working for, but they are doing that legally. And the whole point of that is to check for loopholes that hackers will pry on, you know, or will take advantage of. So they try to beat the system, you know, and try to hack into the system. And when they notice, okay, we actually are faulty at this point, you know, they try to build defense against that before any illegal hacker takes advantage of that. All right, and then we have the governance, risk and compliance officers. These are the ones that create policies and frameworks in line with the industry policies, just to ensure that every cybersecurity process that the organization is carrying out, they're in line with industry policies and all of that. So taking the cybersecurity analyst program with 10 Analytics, affords you the opportunity to choose between three roles. The SOC analyst, you want to be the one looking at the system, detecting irregularities and all of that, or you just want to try to hack the system to spot loopholes and all of that, or then you just want to create policies and frameworks. Okay, so this is what the cybersecurity is about. And just as usual, we'll teach you the overview of cybersecurity roles and technologies. All of these roles I've mentioned to you, such that you are able to choose, okay, this is the one I'm actually interested in. Okay, thereafter, we move on to information security principles and risk management. We get to talk about introduction to network security, threats and vulnerabilities. Then we go to the SOC roles and responsibility, log analysis and network monitoring. So how do you monitor the network and realizes that, okay, there's this fishy action going on, and you protect the organization against it. Then you have threat detection and response, incident response and threat intelligence lifecycle, open source intelligence gathering, malware analysis and threat actor profiling, introduction to penetration testing, vulnerability scanning and network reconnaissance. You have exploitation techniques, governance and compliance framework. That's your ISO 27001, NIST. You also get to learn compliance audits and policy developments. Then security awareness, training and reporting. Okay, so these are the key learning areas under the cybersecurity pathway. And like I said, you get to choose which of the three parties you want to get into. So you have the various tools and technology. You have the Wireshark, Metasploit, Splunk, O.Ease, Microsoft Defender, and the like. The learning pathway is still the same. Okay, so you get to learn on Saturdays, and then you have your self-paced. So with all of these roles that I've mentioned to you, and I've tried to explain to you, which of them do you think resonates with you the most? Please leave that in the chat. We have the data analytics, we have the data science, we have data engineering, we have cybersecurity, we have business analysis, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management, and Scrum Master. Which of these resonates with? Okay, Paul says data science, Joy says business analysis, Ephraim says data science, Prince says now I think he wants the cybersecurity. Okay, so who else? I've mentioned the data analytics. Is nobody interested in financial analytics, HR, agile project management, and the likes? All right, I can see that the cybersecurity guys are having it. Okay, so one good thing about this training program is after learning this tech career path, there are a couple of jobs you can apply to. So say you take the data analytics program, you get to learn, you can apply to the role of a data analyst, a business intelligence analyst, marketing analyst, sales analyst, logistics analyst, supply chain analyst, procurement analyst, and the likes. Same as data science, okay? So you're not just looking for, I want to be a data scientist. You have other roles that have the skills that you have as a data scientist under the data science program, and then you can apply to them. Same goes for every other role here. Okay, the same goes for every other role here. Okay, so I'm just going to move forward. Now, some of us have been able to identify which career path we want to go into. We have cybersecurity, iPhone says data analyst, Prince says cybersecurity, Mary Jane data analyst, Ephraim data science, Joy business analysis. So now that you've known the various career paths and you've chosen which one you think resonates with you and which is best for you, what do employers want from you? Okay, what do employers want from you? Now, let's get into that right away. Now, employers want two things from you, just two things to be able to give you a yes, you're eligible for this role, come take our money and do the job. The first is your skill. And that is all the key learning areas that I've mentioned. So you know what each tech career path entails, and all the key learning areas on that tech career path. That is your skill, and that is the first thing employers want from you. But what then is the second thing? The second thing is experience. Okay, the second thing is experience. I know you'll be wondering, especially for those of us just starting out and getting into tech, how do I get experience? These employers, they go as far as asking 2 years of experience, 5 years of experience, and you're just starting out in tech. So how then do you build and garner experience? not to worry, 10Alytics has that covered. Now, the first way you'll be gaining experience is by working or learning in a project-based environment. Remember that I said that we bring in facilitators that have walked the talk, that have gotten jobs, and they've worked on projects, Now, they are teaching you in class, and they are teaching you these projects that they've worked on. So you are learning in a project-based environment. You are building projects. One way to gain experience is by building projects. That's just the way anybody gains experience, by working on projects. Okay, and that's the one thing, that's the first thing, or that's the first way you get to build experience. And then remember, like I said, you have your watch me do it videos. These watch me do it videos have projects that you will work on. Okay, and then you have your live classes as well. So I'll just go ahead to show you the LMS. So your self-paced watch me do it videos, where you get to build projects at your own convenience. They are housed in our learning management system. And then I'll go ahead to show you that. And I would also show you the Google Classroom, so say that you've worked on projects during the week by yourself at your convenience. You also come to class and work on more projects, because this is the only way you get to build or gain experience. So I would quickly just show you I'll quickly show you the learning management system. Okay, so this is like the 10Alytics learning management system. This is exactly how it looks like, and then you get to work on various projects. I'll just show you one quick project on Power BI, and this is the hospital transaction project, where you get to build a real world project. You get to build dashboard, that you can actually include in your portfolio and gain experience from. Okay, so we also have the live classes as well. For want of time, I'll just go ahead, and before the session ends, I would try to also show you the Google Classroom. Okay, so this is the first step that you gain experience with. You work in a project-based environment. Okay, now the second is, how do you showcase these projects to the world? So you've worked on projects, a lot of projects, using Excel, using Power BI, using SQL, using machine learning. You've built projects, you've built models. How then do you show employers these projects you've worked on? Okay, so I'll show you a portfolio. A portfolio is more like a showroom that houses your project. Okay, all the projects you've worked on and everything, it houses them, and then recruiters are able to see this portfolio and then know that this person is who they say they are. They have the experience because they've worked on so and so projects. So I'm just going to quickly show you this project here by Victor Moboye. So Victor learned in a project-based environment and solved real-world problems. One project we worked on was for a credit union. By the way, he took our data science program, and then he used a predictive model to build he used their data and built a loan default prediction model for this organization called Loanalytics. Okay, he built a loan default prediction model, and then he did this during the internship. Okay, and then he's able to showcase his portfolio such that recruiters are able to see that this is what this person has worked on. So I'll just quickly access Victor's portfolio to show us how it looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to access Victor portfolio and show us how it looks like. So I clicked on the link in the portfolio, and you can also do the same. So this is his GitHub portfolio, and then you can see it has an introduction of Victor, his core competencies, and then when you scroll down, you will see the projects that Victor has worked on. One of it is the loan default project, like I said. Okay, we're going to see what he did with this project. Okay, we're going to see what he did with this project. First of all, in his portfolio contains introduction to the project and what he aimed to solve by building the loan default prediction model. He also had the problem statement. He had the aim of the project, the methodology. With this, any recruiter would see Victor's thinking process. This is how this person approaches a problem, and this is how they solve a problem. So you also get to see their Python code because it is in their portfolio. Okay, you get to see their Python code and all of that. Okay, so this is the step that this person carried out in building this predictive model. The first thing they did was import libraries, the pandas, numpy, and all of that. Then they went ahead to do their data cleaning. They checked for missing values and all of that in the data. They did their exploratory data analysis and all of that. Majorly, the point is, with this portfolio, you are able to showcase to recruiters that this is what I can do, this is what I've done. I have experience. I've worked on projects. That is what gives you experience. Project, okay? I've worked on projects and then I'm showcasing it to you. If you check Victor's profile on LinkedIn, if we still have time, I can just show you that. But if you check Victor's profile on LinkedIn, you would see that he has a link to his portfolio. Anybody looking to recruit Victor would actually just be able to tell the skills that Victor has. Okay, so we'll just move ahead. That's one way to gain experience and then showcase your experience. So after you probably learn during your 6 months training, you will have the opportunity of including our partner company. So we partnered with a company for the internship process. So you see the 2 months of internship, you'll be doing it with a company called Amdari. So 10Alytics is registered in Canada and UK and all of that. We're operational there. And then Amdari, okay, 10Alytics is operational in Canada. Amdari, which is our internship company, is operational in UK, London, as well as Canada. So for those recruiters telling you need Canada work experience or Canadian work experience, UK work experience, working with 10Alytics or learning with 10Alytics and building projects, you already have these experiences. Okay, so you would also be able to include both companies in your CV. Okay, so how then do you stand out? So we've seen that recruiters are looking for two things. The first is the skill, the first is the skill, and the second is the experience. I've also shown you how you will gain experience, which is by working on more projects, and then I've shown you how you get to showcase your project. So how do you stand out? Anybody can get a data analytics skill. Anybody can call themselves a data analyst. Anybody can call themselves a cybersecurity analyst, a business analyst. But how do you stand out? How do you get the job? If you're not doing something spectacular, if that's when you get to start feeling like the tech space is saturated. But if you have something spectacular, you know what you do, you know who you are, you know what you have, you know what you have learned, you will never feel like the tech space is saturated. Okay, and this is what we ensure that all of our participants are. They are able to stand out, and the first way that you get to stand out is your CV. Okay, before you even get to speak with the recruiter, your CV has gone before you. The recruiter has seen your CV. It has entered the room before you did, and they are able to see that, okay, this person's CV is well optimized. What we do at Analytics, we teach you and we also help you review and revamp your CV. So if you are a beginner, you've gotten the skill and you're wondering, okay, so how do I put the skill in my CV? We do that for you. We teach you how to review and revamp your CV. Okay, we have a standard CV format, which is the Wharton format that we use and give to you, such that you are able to apply to jobs using this CV, and then we teach you keyword optimization, such that it beats the applicant tracking system. The keywords in the job description, you put that in your CV, and then your CV is able to get to the recruiter. So the second thing you would learn is the LinkedIn optimization as well. So everybody actually is building a personal brand these days, and most times you don't even have to. Our students at Analytics don't even have to search for jobs sometimes, because recruiters reach out to them on LinkedIn. They've optimized their profile. They talk about what they do on LinkedIn. So we teach you how to optimize your LinkedIn. Which keywords should you have in your LinkedIn profile? Okay, we teach you that as well. Now, the third thing, lest I forget to mention, in your CV, you also get to put that you are working with 10Alytics as a contractor. So you have two companies. Just in case you don't have any tech experience or whatsoever, you have two companies that you can actually include in your CV. That is 10Alytics and Amdari. Okay, you are able to include those in your CV. And using all of this, the third will teach you is navigating the job market. So what jobs do you apply to? And where do you get these jobs to apply to? We teach you that as well. And then we also prep you for interviews. So you've sent your CV, your LinkedIn is well optimized, you have applied to a job, and you get called for an interview. we prep you for those interview sessions, all right? And then say you get a job and the company, you included in your CV that you've worked with a Canadian-based company, which is Amdari, and a UK-based company, Amdari 10Alytics, okay? And then the recruiter has told you, okay, I've seen your CV, I've interviewed you, I need to get reference, okay? So you can include us in your reference details and we'll be more than willing to actually provide reference for you. You can see that with everything that we teach you, with all the sessions and all of that, we can confidently stick out our neck for every of our participants, okay? So we also have something called on-the-job support. On-the-job support. You land a job, it's your first time as a data analyst, and you probably land a problem that you cannot solve. But the good thing is, with how we equip you at 10Alytics, with all the skills and all the projects that you work on, we barely have participants coming to us for on-the-job support. You see Lois that came in today, Thelma that came in today, Bukola that came in today. None of them have ever reached out to say, oh, I'm stuck, I need on-the-job support. But we also have that available just in case you get stuck while discharging your duty, all right? So we also have weekly mentorship sessions. This is where we have the co-founders of 10Alytics, we have recruitment experts, we have students that have gotten jobs. They come back to actually teach you the ropes, you know, they give you mentorship sessions, and all of this is just to ensure that you get a job. Now, the last is Upwork optimization. So saying that you do not want a full-time role, you only want to just work contract-based. This is where Upwork is like a freelance platform. We teach you how to optimize your CV, and you also get to work as a freelancer. So like I said, you also have access to weekly mentorship, exclusive job posts. Now, one thing we do is what we subscribe to premium job boards. You know, for people in Canada, we have builtin.com. We subscribe to that. People in UK, we have ukvisajobs.com. People in US, we have jobright.ai. Okay, we're able to scrape jobs off all these platforms, premium platforms that you ordinarily wouldn't have access to. But because we paid for these job boards and we're able to scrape these jobs, both visa sponsorship jobs and the likes, we're able to provide that to you so that you also apply to this job. The whole point is to ensure that you get into tech easily, get a job easily, and then you have a high rewarding salary. All right, so we also have a couple of success stories. We have Pavel, who had just gotten a job. He made an announcement of it in LinkedIn. And because of want of time, I may not be able to show you everybody that has gotten a job, but please fill the attendance form so that you get notified via email when my slide is up and the recording of the session is up, and you are able to go over everything that I've just said. So these are more success stories using the strategies we've taught. The first being getting the skill, the second being gaining experience by working in real-world projects, showcasing the experience in portfolio. So these people have used these strategies and they are able to get jobs. Okay, so you can go ahead to see more success stories. So let's come to the real deal. I know that a lot of us have been waiting, but before we get into that, just so that we expand our reach, you know, and go into the Canadian market, we also got into the Alberta Catalyzer Velocity Program last year, October 2024, and this is just to ensure that we're able to expand and continue to help people land their dream tech jobs faster. All right, we're also accredited by the American Council of Training and Development, that is the ACTD, so that wherever you take your certificate to, it is worth it. All right, and what are the next steps now? What are the next steps for you to take? So you've learned, you've identified a pathway to get into a tech career, to get into. You've seen how you can gain experience as a beginner, such that you don't have to worry, oh, I'm just starting out, I don't have a science background, I did art in school and all of that. We've shown you how to gain experience. It's by working on projects. We've also shown you how you can showcase this project you've worked on, and then we've shown you extra sessions that we give to you, employability session, because we have a job equation formula. We believe that technical technical skills is just 50% of the entire job equation formula. Then you have your employability skills. That is where you get to learn all those things I talked about, such as reviewing your CV, your LinkedIn profile, and all of that. So what should you do now to thrive in 2025? So before I get into that, I just like to know, if you landed your first tech job, okay, so let's say you get your first tech salary, what would you like to buy with your first tech salary? For me, I think I would want to buy a Lamborghini. I don't know if that's me being too, but I think I really want to get a Lamborghini. If I, so for you, what do you think you would want to buy if you get into tech and you land a high rewarding salary job in tech? So just let me know that in the chat while I get into the remaining part of the session. So let's say that you land a job in tech. What's the first thing you would like to buy? Okay, just put that in the chat so that I'd see the first thing you'd like to get after landing a high-paying job in tech. Okay, so while I'm waiting for our responses, what are the next steps that you should take to thrive in 2025? So you've learned everything you need to learn. How then can you thrive in the year 2025 and land a job? What you need to do is actually join our next cohort, which starts on the 5th of April or on the 10th of May. Now, we highlighted these two cohorts just because we have a discount running. Okay, we have a discount running, and with this discount, it's the International Women Month, and with this discount, you are able to actually choose either the April or May cohort, and the discount is it's a 50% off all our training programs. The discount is available to 300 women and 50 men. So you want to learn a tech skill, you've identified the tech path to go. Okay, so and then we're bringing to you this offer in the International Women's Month, which is the month of March. It gives you an opportunity to pay 50% of our training fee instead of the full fee. So the full amount of our program is actually $900 for every of our program: business analysis, data analytics, data science, data engineering, cybersecurity, HR analytics, and the likes. But instead of paying $900, you get to pay $450 instead. It's a 50% one-off scholarship, okay? You will never get the prices of these our courses at $450 after this month, okay? You will never get the prices for $450 after this month. But with these discounts that we're offering, you get to pay $450 instead of the $900. And say that you think you do not have the full money, we also have a plan for you. So you get to pay $450 in 3 installments, such that you pay $150 in the first month, $150 in the second month, and $150 in the third month. Okay, so you are able to make payment of $450, split it into 3, just in case you do not have the capacity to actually make full payments. And then you have access to the whole of 10Alytics. For Thelma herself, Thelma finished that program in the year 2023. Okay, and she's still able to come back, and whenever she needs a prep, whenever she needs an interview prep or a reference from 10Alytics, she's still able to come back and say, please prep me, and then we'll do that. Once you register with 10Alytics, you have a lifetime access to 10Alytics. I would say that all of the resources and all of that, because you are a huge part of our success story, and we want to see you thrive. We want to see you get that job, your desired job. Okay, so if you're wondering how to make payments, my colleague has dropped the link in the chat, but then I'll just walk us through how we can easily make payments. So when you click on the link, just give me a minute. I'm just going to click on the link. It takes you to the 10Alytics Enrollment Center, okay? Once you click on the link that my colleague has dropped in the chat, it takes you to the 10Alytics Enrollment Center, and this is what it looks like. This is what the 10Alytics Enrollment Center looks like. So if you want to take advantage of this discount that is available to just 300 women and 50 men, click the link that my colleague has sent. It brings you to the enrollment center. Just scroll down a bit scroll down a bit and access the part of the screen that says secure your IWD discounted slot. Okay, secure your IWD discounted slot. Once you click on that, once you click on secure your IWD discounted slot, this opens up for you. You can see that out of 350 slots, we have just 25 seats available. We have 25 seats available, and rest assured, before this week runs out, this is going to be filled up. So if you figured out a tech career path that you want to pursue and get a job in, if you figured it out, please hurry to make payments, because before the week runs out, 25 seats will be filled up, and then our International Women's Day offer, which is a 50% off our training fee program, will be closed. Okay, so this is the payments plan. You get to choose, do you want to make a one-time payment of $450, or do you want to pay in 2 installments or even 3 installments like I mentioned? So you choose which of the payments plan you're good to go for, and then you click on secure your seat. So it breaks down the payments for you. Today being the 19th of March, if you pay $150 today, your next payment is due on the 19th of April, and your final payment is on the 19th of May. So you choose the payment plan and then you proceed to make payment. So you click on proceed, and then you put in all of your details. Okay, you put in all of your details, and then you pay for the product. So after paying for the product, what next? Okay, after paying for the product, what next? So you go back to the enrollment center and then click on upload your receipt here. Okay, you click on upload your receipt, and then you have this form: International Women's Day, 300 women and 50 men in tech scholarship. So you input your details, and that's your email. Then you put in your type of payment. Was it a full payment or an initial payment? You indicate that. Then if it was a full payment, we tried to do the $150. So I'm just going to do initial payment and click next. Okay, after that, it says that it talks about the 10Alytics terms and conditions. So say that today is 19th of April, and then you usually get paid on the 31st, 30th, but you've made your first installment today. And then you know that next month on the 19th, you wouldn't have money to pay. You can reach out to the finance team to have an agreement with them. Okay, I need you to charge me when it's on the 30th of the month, not on the 19th, even though I made payment on the 19th. So there's that flexibility. So you click on next, and then you are able to remember that this discount is only available for our 8 months plan. So you choose that, the 8 months plan, and then you click on next. So after clicking on next, you are able to input your details: your first name, last name, your email preference, your gender, and all of that. All right, remember 25 slots left. Okay, and then just tick the box that says I've read the 10Alytics terms and conditions and click on next. So you also indicate when you made payment, upload a screenshot of your payment, and then a passport picture of yourself. And then you choose your mode of payment and click on next. Okay, and you also provide the name of the account from which the payment was initiated. Click on next, and thereafter you get to choose the program that you are interested in. So say that you are not quite sure which program to get into, either agile project management, business analysis, cybersecurity, data analytics, data engineering, financial. You don't know yet. So you need somebody to look at your background. You need to speak to a professional so that they are able to advise you on which training program to go for. Just choose I need to speak to a professional and click on next and go ahead to submit the form. So you indicate the cohorts that you intend to start the training. This discount is only available for the April and May cohort. Then you put in your WhatsApp phone number, your country of residence, how you found out about 10Alytics, and what made you register, and that's it. Okay, so like I said, we have just 23 seats left. Okay, so you want to go ahead to take advantage of this discount. Okay, you want to go ahead to take advantage of this discount. So at this point or at this juncture, does anybody have a question for me? Do you have a question you'd like to ask about the training program, which of the tech career paths to go to? If you have a question, please leave the question in the chat. I can see Joy's question and my colleague took that. Thank you. So does anybody else have any question? If you want to unmute to also talk to me, feel free. Hi, Waterside, welcome. I don't know where you continued with us from, but basically please fill the attendance form so that the recording and the resources for this session will be provided to you. So does anybody have any question for me so far? If you're wondering which of the tech career paths to choose, how to go about the payment and all of that, you can put that in the chat or even indicate to unmute so that you ask your question. But basically, I want you to know that this is a one-time offer. This $450 offer is actually a one-time offer. You will never find our program at this price, okay? And this is because a VC came and said, okay, this is the International Women's Month, and we want to sponsor 300 women and 50 men so that they get a tech skill and land a job. So we'll pay half of their fees. Okay, this is why we're able to give you a 50% off discount. And like we've seen, we have just 23 slots available, so you want to make payments as fast as you can. I've shown you the different career paths that you can get a job easily with, regardless of your background, regardless of where you're coming from, you can easily get a job. And then okay, Blessing is saying the payment is for what? So the payment is for our various programs: the business analysis, data analytics, data science, data engineering, cybersecurity, HR analytics, financial analytics, HR project manager. So Blessing, if I remember correctly, I think you chose the is it the cybersecurity program, right? And so you get to make payments for the program. Okay, Ephraim says it doesn't have a question. Okay, so I take it that everything I've said is clearly understood, but you want to actually take advantage of the discount and make payments. Okay, so this is pretty much everything for now on our training program. Okay, what is the Naira equivalent of the money and what account? So I'm just going to show you. So one good thing is the training platform, actually, that's Kola Wole Yusuf. The training platform takes account of your location. It doesn't, you don't have to, if you're in Nigeria or UK, you don't have to pay in dollars. So just at the top of my screen color, you'd see this NGN and this drop down. So say it was in US dollars initially. So you just want to click on this drop down and click and search for Naira or NGN and choose that. And then you get to see the payment price and the plan. So in Naira, it's 765,000 Naira for one-time payment. And then if you're paying twice, you get to pay 382,500 Naira. And then if you're paying 3 times, you get to pay 255,000 and the likes. So say that you've made payment like I've shown you. The first step you want to do after making payment is fill the form. The form is on the training site. Click on, just scroll and choose upload your receipt here. All right, if you're now unsure of whether to go for business analysis, data analytics, and you want to speak to a professional, please feel free, okay, to choose I need to speak to a professional. So Michael is saying I'm interested, but can I still land a job at age 58? So Michael, absolutely yes. The tech space is not restricted by your age at all. So our youngest participant is 17 and our oldest is around 67. Okay, so you can very much still get into tech and land a job. Like I've shown you, what recruiters are looking for are your skill and experience. Okay, your skill and nobody would ask you what is your age. I told you that we're going to teach you how to optimize your CV. I know that some of us have our age written on our CV, okay, but nobody will ask you for your CV. Nobody will ask you for your age, pardon me. Okay, what they want to do is, can you do the job? Do you have experience? That's what any recruiter wants to see. Have you done the job? Can you do it if we hire you? So, Michael, you're not restricted by your age or anything. You can still get into tech and make it big time, solve problems, contribute to providing meaningful solutions, okay, globally, because tech is actually a global language, okay? So, I believe that I've answered your question, Michael. Does anybody else have further questions for me before we call it a day? We've been doing this for 2 hours 36, and I appreciate everybody for staying this far. Are there further questions before we call it a day? Does anybody have any question for me before we call it a day? If you have a question and you want to speak to me, you can unmute and let me know that you want to speak or ask a question. But without further questions, I think I want to show us one testimonial at least. I want to show us one testimonial before we go today. So I told you that we actually have walked the talk. You've seen Lois, you've seen Thelma, you've seen Bukola, and then I want to show you a stay-at-home mom. You know, Ikmat, she was a stay-at-home mom. You know, she finished her master's without any tech experience. She decided that I want to get into the tech space. Okay, she decided that she wanted to get into the tech space, and then she was able to take our data analytics program and got a job from our data analytics program. So just give me a minute to actually show you. Let me just quickly go there. Let me show you Ikmat's experience so that you you have an idea of what I'm talking. So this is Ikmat, okay? She was a full-time stay-at-home mom. She moved to the UK for her master's. She didn't want to do care, okay? So she joined our data analytics program and she got a job, a full visa sponsorship job. This is what we're able to do for you, okay? So I'm just going to click the video to watch so that we just hear Ikmat.
It's 9:15. How am I already underwater?
I'm in the same. I want to ensure that this ad doesn't play. So yeah, skipping this and I'm playing.
Hi everyone, my name is Ikmat and I was with the March cohort in 10Alytics, and joining 10Alytics has been the best decision so far. You know, for me, someone coming from a background of full housewife, because I had to stay back home to look after my child for 4 years, and then wanting to break into something new, wanting to go back into the workforce, you know, wanting to place myself in the society for better job opportunities. So it was a lot. And then I'm glad that 10Alytics came along, and then they presented me with so many opportunities right in front of me, better opportunities. And then I'm glad I took it. And then also the advice of do not sell yourself short, that Effie is always saying, it is very, very valid, because place yourself right, you know, don't sell yourself short. It's a very, very, very valid advice. You know, in 10Alytics, they will hold your hands like a child, you know, through the modules. You have the opportunity to go back and study. You have the opportunity to go back and practice. You have the opportunity to ask questions. You know, you have people you can always go back to, even outside of class hours. It's the most amazing experience so far, really. And then another thing is the interview prep, guys. That is another very important thing. I did my interview prep with Mr. Mohammed, and it is the best decision ever, because it was like he saw into the future. He knew what was going to be asked. And I'm glad that I wrote down all the things he mentioned. I went back to practice, and then when it was time for the interview, it was like everything he was mentioning, everything he mentioned, it was just, they kept on. And then when I was answering those questions, I was so confident, you know, because I already practiced. I did an Excel test, I did a maths test, and then they were really impressed. And another thing is, guys, it may not come as fast as you expect. Definitely you are going to get some no's, and then you may begin to think you're not good enough. You are good enough, yes. The no's will come, but always take it as a basis for learning and development, because after every interview where I got a no, I always make sure I get a personal feedback. So I work on those feedbacks for my next interviews. And yes, it worked. It really worked for me, because I got my first job 3 months into the program, my first job. But I couldn't take up the job because I was a student and I was only eligible to work 20 hours. So I couldn't take up the job. 3 months later, I got 2 jobs with full visa sponsorship. And guys, all the other no's before the 2 jobs prepared me for the yeses I got. So yes, the no's will come, but do not give up because you always have 10Alytics to go back to. They are the best and the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then yes, and they are the most affordable one I've come across so far. And that's a very good advantage.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Thank you so much, Prince. So I was saying to you that this is Ikmat, she actually got a job, like I told you, after taking our business analysis program, okay? And sorry, our data analytics program. And then she has just explained everything that I've been saying to you so far. All of the resources, the 10Alytics facilitators and all of that, they are actually accessible to you. So long as you've made payment for the training program, your success is our success. So we'll do everything within our power to ensure that you actually get a job. So I saw Michael's question, and Michael says, I'm a pharmacist. Which program will best fit my old profession? Will business analytics program be cool? So Michael, I think we'll need to get more details into your background. Okay, like you said, you're a pharmacist, and then I would like to recommend the data analytics program, saying that you might just that's like one of the easiest way to get into tech. But if you feel like business analysis is something that speaks to you, you can actually as well go for the business analysis program. But if you ask me, I think that with your background in pharmacy, you might just go into data analytics and stick to analyzing health related data, because you already have an idea, or you know what the health sector is, and you can actually transfer your knowledge into analyzing health related data. But if you think that the business analysis pathway is the way to go, please feel free to register for the business analysis program. Okay, so we also have sessions that we call clarity sessions. If you're unsure of which training program to choose and decide on, you can actually choose that while filling the form, and then you get to speak to professionals that, based off your background, your likes and your interests, they will be able to recommend a training, a tech career path for you to go into. So with this being said, I believe that we've come to the end of the session, and I'd like to know if you got value for your time. So you've been here for 2 hours 44 minutes. If you got value for your time, please leave a yes in the chat. If you got value for your time so far, please leave a yes in the chat. Thank you, Pamela. So who else is leaving a yes in the chat? Thank you, Sophie. Oh, well, so we have like 42 people on the call. If you're unsure of anything I've said, you can actually unmute to ask a question. Okay, so I can see some yeses in the chat. So thank you. Please go ahead to take advantage of the discounted slots we have. Also fill the attendance form so that you get to have access to the recording of the session and the slide, so you can actually look at everybody that has gotten jobs so far. You can look at everything I've shown you, the World Economic Forum report and all of that. You can actually take a look at everything on my slide. Okay, so this is what we'll call it a day today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, for giving me your 2 hours 45 minutes. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you in class come April or May 2025. Bye, everybody, and thank you.